Oh, live from New York. It's a show that may or may not have a series of New Year's resolutions. Brew said, quote, keep winning. Mine is always based on vegetables, but I never come through on it. I might just...
Yeah. I crushed my last New Year's resolution I did on the show. Crushed it.
Be less humble.
Be less humble.
Oh, yeah.
I was the greatest at that one.
So do you have another one?
I have
I
one,
was
but I'm
not
gonna keep it to
surprised.
myself.
Okay.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, we'll check in. Ask me in a month if I've kept my New Year's resolution.
Might be nefarious.
No, it's not nefarious.
Some
It's for
gambling.
my betterment, but I don't want to put the cart before the horse. You'll know whether or not I've kept it.
He smells like nicotine. It's coming in. First hour, first things first. Today, Lamar is back.
Oh, my.
Are we expecting a vintage performance? And what does that even mean?
Yeah, great.
From a few years
I think
ago?
we
or-
know what that means.
I'm not
I
How about a
I
few
don't.
months ago?
A
Okay.
few months ago, he wasn't playing.
Meanwhile, drama in Dallas. Micah fires back at Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones says, yeah, I can understand it. And finally, upset alert, which is red hot, and Nick's picks, which is super scorching. Locks are 5-1.
I
season
didn't
surge.
want to do the locks. Wilds made me. It's a great call by you.
I-
5-1 on locks.
Stop. It's a great pick by you.
Well, they've been great picks, but adding that element to it, it was great.
I think
You
I,
challenged him and you stepped up.
I think
Yeah.
I have my New Year's
Proud of you.
resolution. Be more supportive.
Yeah, particularly during the overtime segment.
Okay.
No, for everything. I'm just going to be like, great
That's
job.
that's the one where you're cruel.
I got such a scathing email about the arrogant Patriots, Kevin Wildes,
Oh, people hate him.
that I got an email that was like heartfelt disappointment.
Really sad.
That this
People
guy,
feel really
this
betrayed.
person was like,
They're like,
I
this
guess
guy."
I misunderstood who Wildes
Yeah.
was. This
And I'm like,
man."
is that the real me? You know what?
It might be.
It is, but I'm going to put him back in a box. We're starting with Lamar Jackson. Full participant all week in practice.
Oh, my.
Oh my.
In his media availability, he insisted that he was really hurt and is now 100% playing. He never quit on the team. He absolutely wants to be a Raven, Brew, and he's befuddled that he had to refute questions about his commitment to the team and practice habits. Take a listen.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man. You be out there. You know, I always want to play football, you know, but I felt like my brother had he can, you know, put a win off for us because I wouldn't be able to do anything. You know, I was really hurt. Like, I don't know why I got to get questioned about, or I hear things about, oh, I don't know if he really, like, I never quit on my team before, you know, so I never quit anything, to be honest with y'all. So I don't know where that noise came from.
Brew, your reaction to that quote and your expectations for Lamar on Sunday night.
Well, he also said he's not up late playing video games, even in the summer.
Yeah, even
And he said he is not falling asleep in meetings.
Yeah.
Said he's right there in the front row.
He like laughed
So
at that.
I don't know
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with the reporting, with the truth, but I'm riding with Lamar Jackson. He has struggled against the Steelers, though,
Correct.
as you know. 2-5 overall. Even last year in that great season, struggled against them. But came on late with the playoff win, late season win. Last time he practiced Wilds for a whole week, I believe I'm right, was Miami. That would have been the Miami game, coming off the injury.
That was weird because that was a Thursday game, so they didn't even have a full week of practices, right? He missed that Sunday and then played there. But yeah, that was he has not.
That's when he was supposedly
Right,
healthy
there
and
for the whole
able
thing.
for the whole
Yep.
week. He cooked.
Yeah, he did.
4 touchdowns.
Yep.
78% completion.
Okay.
140 something like that.
This is
Passer
first
rating.
game
143.
post-hamstring is the game you're talking about.
And then he apparently got hurt in that game or something.
Hurt his knee.
And then hasn't practiced a full week since, except for this week. So I don't expect like Lamar to just be all like vintage Lamar, if you will. But I do expect him to play well. I'm going to say 2 touchdown passes,
Okay.
no interceptions.
All right.
But I think it's going to be more of a Derrick Henry game. Now, I think they're going to Henry ran 25 times, I believe, last time they played Pittsburgh. Now, they did a good job on him, only had 94 yards. But I think he's going to have a better game rushing the ball, about the same amount of carries, over 100 yards. And I think there'll be timely passing by Lamar. What was it? Was it Cincinnati when he threw 12 times, 8 for 12, 150 yards? Not that, I don't think he'll throw that limited amount. But I see a similar game where he's maybe 16 for 22, 2 touchdown passes, but it's a big game from Derrick Henry.
That would be great.
Yeah, you'll definitely take that.
Listen, first of all, I want to say this. I'm surprised that he's definitively playing. I'm surprised he practiced all week. When he was essentially ruled out of last week's game, not official, but when you're ruled doubtful, that means you're really not playing. Last Friday, I thought the best hope was that he would be questionable going into this week's game, and that wasn't the case. He was full participant on Wednesday in practice, and so I'm surprised by that. I will also, and I obviously was wrong, because I think I said on Monday I don't expect him to play, and by Wednesday we knew he was likely playing, and today we know he is playing. So maybe I'll be wrong again, but I would be very surprised if he plays well. And there's 3 reasons for it. The first one is he is coming off an injury that 5 days ago was significant enough for him to be ruled out of a must-win game. So not even like tested out pregame, see what it is, was ruled out early in the day going into that. The other one is, to the point you made, Pittsburgh has given him more trouble than any team in his career, aside from maybe Kansas City, but he plays Pittsburgh so much more often than Kansas City. We can show you his career against the Steelers. The reason it says 3-5 and Bruce said 2-5 was I included the playoff win.
Which helps his numbers.
Right, which helps his numbers. And it's fair to include it. But still, those numbers are jarring. Even more jarring are these numbers. His career in Pittsburgh. It's been a house of horrors for him. The one game they won, I think he had 1 touchdown, 3 picks. They won in overtime. It was his first game ever playing in Pittsburgh. Has not won there since. And then lastly, and this is where, tricky spot, but it is what it is. Lamar is not a player, even when at full health and not against an opponent that has given him trouble, that I trust in big spots. And it was very interesting going into the year. We had kind of like, it was off the air, but a conversation, maybe the 3 of us, maybe it was just KW and I'm not sure, that we wanted to make sure that we didn't minimize the importance of the regular season for certain guys by being like, well, all that matters is what you do in the playoffs. Yeah. And Lamar would have been preeminent on that list, where if it looked like he was going to win another MVP, how do we juggle discussing that with the elephant in the room, which is he's going to be judged on the playoffs. Oddly, this year it's been like the opposite has happened, that because he's been injured and hasn't played great, the fact that he's only going to be judged by the playoffs has almost worked narratively to his benefit, which is all of this gets wiped away if he plays well this weekend, and then if this is the year he goes on a great playoff run, then no one cares about what the regular season was. But a player that it was missed last week is playing an opponent that has given him trouble in a building that he's never played well in, and it's a de facto playoff game. I would be shocked if he plays really well given all of those circumstances.
Well, think about last time he played them in the playoffs, he was great. Last year,
yes.
I feel like he got over that hump because his worst game last season had been against Pittsburgh in the first meeting. Second game, he plays great. Then in the playoffs, he plays great against them. So, like I said, I expect a really solid game.
What do you attribute him struggling against them this year to?
Well, he struggled against – that was during that 5-game stretch where he was struggling against everybody.
So that's my question. We saw Jalen Carter come back from an absence, and he didn't look healthy enough. He looked fully healthy. Yeah. Do you expect – and I'll show you this graphic of Lamar's rushing yards per game. That he's down to 9th, and he was 1st or 2nd every year he's been a starter. Do you expect Lamar to be healthy, which would be amazing, and I expect him to run like the old Lamar, or healthy enough to play. Hey, I'm healthy enough where I'm probably better than Snoop Huntley, but I'm probably not as good as vintage Lamar.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Snoop Huntley. One of the things he's brought to the offense in the 2 games he won, Chicago and Green Bay, was more running.
Correct.
Like he ran for almost 120 yards in those 2 games, which Lamar hasn't been doing, 60 yards a game. I don't expect that old, like, Lamar running for 70, 80 yards.
So the season started,
I think
he ran
it'll
for
be
70.
Against
First
Buffalo?
game
Against Buffalo, he ran for 70. Last game against the Patriots, he ran for 7.
He
Didn't
probably
play the whole
isn't
game.
quite that healthy. He probably isn't that healthy.
Man,
I mean, Nick said that's a good point that how banged up was he last year? It's a back injury.
Last week, yeah.
Or last week, it's a back injury that, so, but I expect him to throw the ball well. I don't expect him to win this with his legs. I think he can make maybe a couple of nice scrambles, but I'm not looking at him running them to victory.
Excuse me.
You don't think he can win without running?
No, just he was healthy enough to play against the Patriots, and he did not look good. He did not look like himself. And
He was 7 for 10.
He didn't look as he didn't look
like
You mean running?
No, I'm saying whether he was. I don't care if he was 10 for 10. When I was watching that game, there was an element of relaxation I had.
He
when
has,
the Ravens
in
had
my
the ball.
opinion, Brew, he has not looked like scary vintage Lamar since the Chiefs game. The Chiefs game we can't attribute to
Miami, but
again, even like that, and maybe I am
He's
not
even 4
remembering that
touchdowns.
game. Well, no, I know, but as vividly as you, but that was maybe Miami.
It wasn't a huge game because it's the Dolphins.
Right, it was the Dolphins, and I don't know what Lamar Jackson is going to be moving forward. When we talk about him versus Aaron and the pressure later in the show, there are some ominous signs of all of the basically top 10 rushing yardage quarterbacks about how long their primes were and all of that. And so I don't know what he'll look like moving forward, but I do feel like I know that this year, since he started dealing with injuries, he has not been the same scary player.
No,
he
there's no
he
question
takes
he
more
hasn't been that
sacks
same.
than he does in years past. He doesn't run the ball. He doesn't pop off big runs. And that is even with his improvement as a passer, it removes an element of transcendence that he had.
I feel like I still feel like a lot of it is mental. Like he has this. He wants to prove to everybody that he's a regular quarterback, like a pocket quarterback, a passer. And he's become very good at that, but he shouldn't eliminate that from his game.
But I just wonder
That's
if this, but
sure.
real quick before we move on, I wonder if even if he didn't have that element right now, if this week he was like, man, playoff mode, beat the Steelers, get in by any means necessary. I think what Wilds is getting to, does he have right now the capability to be a dynamic runner given the injuries of the year?
I think he can be dynamic enough.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
the question. As for the other quarterback,
down.
Aaron Rodgers has already beaten the Ravens once. Can he do it again to keep his season and maybe his career rolling? Here's Aaron.
Listen, I mean, I'm thinking about this week, but obviously I'm 42 years old and I'm on a 1-year deal. So you know what the situation is. Whenever the season ends, I'll be a free agent. So that'll give me a lot of options. If I still want to play, I'm in a lot of options, but there'll be options. I would think maybe 1 or 2 if I decide I still want to play. But I've enjoyed this experience, and everybody in Pittsburgh has been fantastic to me on and off the field. And it's really what I was hoping for this experience was. It's been even better than I was hoping.
He's not retiring. Rodgers, week 14 at the Ravens, where he won 27-22, had 284 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, passer rating 103, but that was with DK Metcalf, who had almost
more
150
than half
yards.
of those yards were
who will not
A lot
be
of them were
playing.
after catch.
So, Nick, your reaction to Aaron Rodgers, and are you expecting a vintage Rodgers performance?
not a vintage Rodgers performance, but what I do wonder is Aaron Rodgers going to have one more moment in the NFL sun? He has not had all football world's eyes on Aaron and he comes through moment since January of 2021. against Jared Goff and the Rams in the playoff game to get the conference championship game matchup with Brady and the Bucs. He then lost that game at home. The next year, lost his first playoff game at home to San Francisco. The next year, lost the winning you're in. Same exact spot. Final game. I don't know if it was final game of the. I think it was Sunday Night Football, right? It was
I don't know if it was Sunday Night Football, but it was the last.
But it was last. I think it was Sunday Night Football. It wasn't winning you're in for Detroit, but it was winning you're in.
Detroit had nothing to play for.
Right, Detroit, because Detroit had been eliminated earlier in the day, and he lost that. And then the Jets year, he blew out his Achilles. And the next Jets year, there were no important games. Aaron Rodgers has not played in a high-leverage, all-eyes-on-him moment game where he came through in 5 years. And I know you're of the belief, KW, somewhat, that the Serena Williams at the U.S. Open moments, like when she wasn't still Serena,
He's an iconic player.
Is an iconic player going to have one last moment or not? The thing that I happen to believe, Brew, is that the Steelers can win without that. I think the Steelers' best path to winning, and I thought it was against Cleveland, they went away from it, is Kenneth Gainwell, Jalen Warren, and trust their defense against Lamar. But that is, to me, what is interesting, because it's very rare for a legendary player to play this long at the end without a legendary moment. 5 years is a good portion of his career, and that's been how long it's been since he's had one of these games where he came out on the right side of.
Yeah, my expectations are very low.
Really?
Yeah. First of all, he's 42. And secondly, he is no longer at the stage of his career where he can put the team on his back. All right? And that's what he has to do. Like, without DK Metcalf, without Darnell Washington, the big tight end, I don't think he's capable of doing it. That huge game, and then the next week, I don't know if it was Miami, he had another big game after that.
Miami.
A lot of that was DK Metcalf.
Yep.
And so he can set the table and throw, the ball to the right guys and then let them do something with it. But a lot of those guys aren't there. Now, Gainwell scares me. As a guy rooting for the Ravens, Gainwell is a guy that I think has to have a huge game for them. I don't think it's going to be, Joe, just running the football. I think Gainwell needs to make something happen in the passing game, which he can.
The screen game.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. Rodgers, you went back, Nick. I remember those games. The game he lost to San Francisco in the championship game. Right. You look back now, and the Tampa Bay game with Brady. You look back now in the stats, and you'll say, Rodgers was pretty good. But when you remember the games, he did nothing when the game was in the balance, in the first half.
Yes.
They got way behind, and then he came on strong in the second half. But by that point, the game was kind of over. And so that Detroit game, when they were out of it during that midway through that season, everybody's writing them off. He starts playing well when it's kind of like everything's gravy. And then they get back in it. Detroit has nothing to play for. And that wasn't this Detroit team. They were just beginning to get good.
But they were culturally.
They were coming, but they were 8-9. They weren't quite there yet. And he had everything to play for.
And he had those worst game of the year.
Yes.
Or one of them.
And so I just don't think he has a huge history of stepping up big. I'm not saying he hasn't had any great big games, but he's had most of them have been poor. He hasn't been good generally in the NFC Championship games. Even the year he won the Super Bowl, he wasn't great in that championship game.
Okay.
I'm just being honest. Say what you want, but I'm telling you the truth.
He's got 4 MVPs. He's a Super Bowl
he's
champion.
been
We
great
can't go
in the
back
regular
and
season.
this game.
Well, these are big games, though.
Then
he's been great in the regular season.
Man, does he step up bigger than Lamar? Because you're I've got total confidence in Lamar, who's hurt.
I think Lamar's in his prime, though. If Aaron Rodgers was in his prime. Well, you just
dissed his whole prime.
No, I didn't diss his whole prime. He's got a Super Bowl and 4 MVPs.
He didn't play that well in the Super Bowl.
No,
he did.
He said
the NFC Championship game.
NFC Championship I think he's an iconic player. Maybe he comes up short. I feel like we were giving way too much credence.
How's he going to come up huge? Who's he throwing the football to come up huge?
Adam Thielen, I guess. It's not great. Don't get me wrong.
That's
DK
my point.
Metcalf isn't.
If he had DK, I'd feel
that's
different.
a problem. I feel like the Browns game, we have put an outsized, magnifying glass on playing poorly against Myles Garrett in the Browns, where before that, he was cooking.
But that
103
again, that
passer
was with
rating,
DK.
125, 92, 67
So here,
against Myles.
listen, I think the Steelers are going to win, for the record. But I actually don't think we have put enough importance on the Browns game. That was a win and you're into the playoffs game against a 3-win doormat. And they scored 6 points.
The Browns are tough. 6 points.
KW.
The Ravens lost to the Browns.
Hold on a second.
6 points?
They scored, KW.
Ravens put 41 on the Browns.
They scored 6, and again, I think I'm the only person picking the Steelers. So I think they can do it. But they knew all week, if we win this game, we win the division. We can rest in week 18. They were playing a team with a rookie quarterback who played poorly and set them up on the plus side with turnovers multiple times. And I thought, made some outlandish decisions on where he was throwing it to and the way they played offensively.
Yeah.
He has an opportunity to make up for it here. It is not, though, an overstatement to say that since that game against Jared Goff and Sean McVay and the Rams, and I'm not saying Jared Goff like he's a bad player, I'm saying it's that long ago that Jared Goff was on the Rams, he has played in 3 games similar to this. The NFC Championship game against Brady that Brew is correct on, he was brutal in the first half and then rallied late. The divisional home game as the 1 seed to San Francisco, where San Francisco scored 0 offensive touchdowns and the Packers lost 13-10, and then that game to Detroit.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity for him. I don't think he has to throw for 300 yards. I think he has to make 3 or 4 big plays because I think the Steelers defense will be able to slow down Lamar. But this could be the last big game of his career.
College football playoff roundup. First up, goodbye Buckeyes. Last year's national champion loses to Carson Beck in Miami. Back-to-back losses for the Buckeyes. Miami surging. Then, that win sets up a date for the Hurricanes in the Fiesta Bowl against Ole Miss, who blew a lead, then came storming back to knock out the Bulldogs with a field goal with under 10 seconds to go. Meanwhile, the number 1 team in the country, bro, the Indiana Hoosiers, easily handled Alabama, setting up a rematch with Oregon, who they beat by 10 in Eugene in October. All right, there's a lot to digest there. Nick, what was your number 1 takeaway?
I hope Ole Miss wins the whole thing. And that is part to spite rooting because while I understood it was his right, and everyone's entitled to do whatever they want for themselves, their career, and their family, I did not like really any of how Lane Kiffin handled his exit from Ole Miss and leaving. Sure. And I also didn't know that I just agreed with his math on it, which was I have a better chance of winning a national championship by leaving to go to LSU rather than staying to coach a team that's in the damn playoff. Mm-hmm. And by the way, was not like, are they going to make it, are they not going to make it? Was a lock playoff team who lost to one team all year who they now just beat, got to get back on. And now Ole Miss is playing Miami, who, listen, we have Miami fans on the staff. I got friends down in Miami. I'll be rooting for whoever wins that game to win the title. I think it's the coolest story. But Ole Miss can beat Miami. And I wonder, Brew, if this Ole Miss team is right now, this moment, closer to a national championship than Lane Kiffin will ever be at LSU.
Ever.
Well, I mean, it's...
Well, he'll certainly have the resources.
Yeah.
At LSU.
Sure.
So
but, I mean,
if he doesn't get this close, it is an abject failure by him.
Sure.
I mean, he has to win a championship there.
Yes.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I agree with you. I'm rooting. I don't have a rooting interest. I mean, I did live in Indiana, I guess. But because of the story, and I blame the NCAA just as much as I blame Lane Kiffin. Now, I blame both of them. But because of the situation, I would love to see Ole Miss win it. Because it's not just the way Kiffin kind of kicked them to the curb, said basically, you're not good enough. But half of their coaching staff right now is working for LSU and coaching Ole Miss. And some of them might, this is terrible.
Some of them he might call some of them. There's 6 coaches that are currently working for LSU but coaching Ole Miss. And the reporting this morning is they're not sure whether or not they're going to let them coach the semifinals.
I mean, that is terrible.
Because they thought they were going to leave early, lose early, and now they don't know what they're going to do.
For all those reasons, I really hope they win to stick it to the NCAA and Kiffin. Also, Trinidad Chambliss, best name in the nation, so I'd love to see that win. But my big takeaway quickly, Indiana.
I mean, they're pretty good.
Signetti, this is one of the most remarkable stories achievements I've ever seen in sports. That team, Indiana, won 3 games a year before he got there. Indiana, before he got there, had never, not back in the 50s, never finished in the top 20 in a season. They had, take away the pandemic year that was shortened, they've had 2 winning seasons this century before he got there. And he immediately they go from that one of the worst programs in the top Division I level to now maybe winning a championship.
Are you sure you're not rooting for Indiana?
I'm amazed by this story.
And
I can't believe this. Even with the portal and all that, it's incredible.
It's what Bill Snyder did at Kansas State times 10. And what Bill Snyder did at Kansas State was considered the greatest coaching job in college football history.
It's unbelievable.
Conversation during the break, podcast exclusive. Are we sure Mendoza feels like a Raider?
Well, Dante Moore might
he
be
doesn't
number
feel
1.
like a Raider.
I like Dante Moore.
He doesn't feel like a Raider.
Why is a high school team challenging Drake May? Next.
Nearly home. Isn't home where we all want to be? Reba here for Realtor.com, the pros' #1 most trusted app. If you're hearing me, I'm going to assume you're awake. And if you aren't, because while you're snoozing, someone else might be finding your dream home. That's where Realtor.com comes in. With over 500,000 new real listings straight from the pros every month, that's a lot of chances to find the place you've been dreaming of. Whether you're searching for a 2-story mid-century with a pool or a little extra space with a spa-inspired bathroom, Realtor.com can help you find it today. So quit hitting that snooze button. Realtor.com isn't sleeping on finding your dream home, and neither should you. Download the Realtor.com app today, cause you're nearly home. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Pros #1 most trusted app based on August 2024 proprietary survey. Over 500,000 new listings every month based on average new for sale and rental listings. February 2024 through January 2025.
Podcast top 10 in the world. And, our YouTube. We are about 25 million in change from 1 billion views. Congratulations to our entire YouTube team. A little preliminary.
The whole YouTube team is Gianna.
No, there's other people.
No, it's just her.
She told
Gianna
me.
is way
She told me
lots of people.
She told me it's just her.
It's just her.
No, she's the only one with her job on.
You know
She
what?
got mad at me for thinking it was others.
If we get to 1 billion, I hadn't announced.
Patriots going for win number 14
down.
against the Dolphins on Sunday. 1 seed, still within reach, but Trey Lance needs to beat the Broncos. Now, the Patriots have only played 1 team that is definitely in the playoffs, the Bills.
Wow.
And people have been using their weak schedule as shots at the team in Drake May's MVP candidacy. Here's the future MVP. Not necessarily this one.
Yeah, we play in the National Football League. You know, every team's got great players. They get paid a lot of money. So it's not like we're playing Foxborough High School down the road. You know, we play on our schedule, and we can't control that. And just trying to go out there and win. And you know, a lot of these teams that we do play are good, and they're in the National Football League for a reason.
Greg Jennings is here, Super Bowl champion. Nick, is the Patriots' strength of schedule something or nothing?
It's obviously something, but it's obviously not everything. But it can't be nothing. So it's one of the reasons that we think this is wide open. Even with Drake May's youth, if they had their record and against the Texans schedule, we would not be saying it's wide open. we historically on this show care a lot about who you beat. We have a whole tomato can bit built around the idea
that
was about.
We should have brought that
thought
up.
it might hurt your feelings.
Exactly.
Every week it would have been like, they beat some tomato cans.
And there are 12 teams in the league that have qualified for the playoffs. The Patriots have beaten one of them. That team also beat them. And that team, the big Pats fan on the show, thinks is not good. Buffalo.
Okay.
And so I do think it is instructive also when you talk about, it's not just that they have had a soft schedule. This is, since the merger, the easiest schedules.
Ouch.
This is the 8 easiest schedules. So here's what you learn about having one of the easiest schedules in the history of the league. You're going to win a lot of games.
Well, only 8 teams.
Right.
What do you mean, KW?
So these
are not
the 8 easiest schedules.
Not amongst playoff teams, not amongst.
Got you.
This is the 8 easiest schedules ever.
Got it. Ever.
And
what
those teams did that year. Okay? So now listen.
You're going to tell us, I assume, what they did.
Well, the 72 Dolphins, 99 Rams won the Super Bowl. I just know that off the top of my head. Those are the only Super Bowl winners on that list. So all of those teams made the playoffs. All those teams were good teams, to a degree. But it also shows you when you have a schedule this easy, you're going to have a gaudy record. To make it a little more contemporaneous, ranked in order, this century, they have had the easiest schedule. Now, the Broncos have had this 3rd easiest schedule this century.
No one talks about
which
them.
is noteworthy. Well, maybe if we had
because it's not as bad.
And maybe if we had someone on
the
the show.
They're the 1 seed.
I understand, but KW, they don't have anyone that's vying for MVP, which is an important thing.
That's probably bad. You're playing the 2nd, 3rd easiest schedule of the century.
Okay, I don't know what you like. We knew they were going to have an easy schedule going into the year. It's one of the reasons you and I both picked them to make the playoffs. We talked about it in the offseason about them having an easy schedule. It turned out to be easier than we even anticipated. The easiest schedule anyone's had this century. It can't be nothing. It doesn't mean they can't win a Super Bowl, but it does mean it has to be baked into the analysis of how impressive their season is.
I think that's fair. Greg?
Look, I hate this idea that every team and every player has to come with a caveat. There's always a warning or the fine print that we need to look further into, and that's what's happening with the Patriots. It's something because we're making it something, but it's nothing when you are on that team and you're going out every single week and you're beating the teams that's next up. So what? Now they're in the postseason, and all we're going to talk about is if they lose, well, we kind of expected this because they didn't play anybody. And that doesn't necessarily fit the bill because when we look at the Panthers and Bucs, the Panthers specifically, they've played now about 6 or 7 playoff teams. Are we going to say if the Panthers get in, if they beat the Bucs, are we going to sit here and say, man, the Panthers are going to be they're ready?
No.
Because they beat the Rams, they played the Seahawks, they played the 49ers.
No, about the Texans.
I understand the Texans, but I'm saying the Rams, who were poor last year, who now all of a sudden have a chance to get into the playoffs, just like the Panthers.
Yes.
Who now all of a sudden has a sudden get into the playoffs. Are we going to look at them and say, man, they've been tested, tried, and true?
No.
Exactly. So why are we going to do it with this team? They have a good team. Period. When we went 15-1, the year after winning the Super Bowl, we were the favorites. I'm not sure what our strength of schedule was that season, but the likelihood of us losing wasn't that high. You know what happened? We lost.
Well, yeah. I mean,
It happens the same way as for teams who have great success during the season with the easy schedule, teams that have tough schedules and get in the playoffs, because it's one and done.
Yeah,
so we can stop.
Wiles, I'll soothe your mind a little bit.
Great.
They've crushed the bad, not all of them, but a lot of the bad teams, right?
Average.
And Carolina
Almost
wasn't a bad team, but you crushed them. The Jets, it was the worst loss for the Jets all season, and Drake May had one of the greatest, most efficient quarterback performances ever. And you won 12 of your last 13. That's impressive no matter who you're playing.
Undefeated.
12 of your last 13. So I'll give them a little love for that.
You know, I understand where people are coming from in a lot of the angst, because I feel it too. I went to get my wife a diamond necklace and some diamond rings.
You should have gone to my jeweler.
I was going to.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, all sold out. Whole Diamond District sold out. I said, why? They said, when it came out and the schedule was released and the Patriots were at 8.5 over under, turns out the entire world took the over and they just raked in all the money and bought up all the diamond necklaces and all the rings. So now everyone's like, this strength of schedule. The schedule came out in the spring. Like, we were talking about the second easiest schedule for the Patriots on record. Gianna went through it. We're talking about it in June. It was the 49ers one and the Patriots two. All I could do was say it. I said, hey, we're at 8.5 wins. I'm going to hammer the over. Look at our easy schedule. Then Nick said, yeah, you know what other teams say? You're everyone else's easy. I know, I'm telling you, you said that.
I did the same thing that you did.
I'm saying you told me that when you looked at the Patriots, the 4-win Patriots, your other team's easy game. Am I missing? I don't want to misquote you.
No. But you and I both thought the Patriots would go 10-7 and be a wild card.
So if we go to 14 wins, I'm surprised more people aren't like, wow, they exceeded my wildest expectation.
KW, everybody. So this is where.
I think most people feel
hold on.
that way.
This is where I will get frustrated. Not with you, but with the general discourse. People are saying that. You might win Coach of the Year. The Patriot fans that are like, why won't folks give us credit? Credit is not what you are missing out on. What you are missing out on is, why won't folks say we're clearly the best team in football? Why won't folks say our quarterback clearly deserves the most prestigious honor in the league? Which, by the way, he might win. So it is not, nobody out there, I have yet to see the take of, the Patriots are a bad team that have beat up on tomato cans, but they're just a mediocre team. Nobody thinks that. The question is, are they a great team that just got the benefit of an easy schedule, or are they a good team that is probably against a league average schedule would have been 11-6 in a wild card, and against this schedule is going to be 14-3. Those are different discussions, and it is. I think that you feel one of your skepticisms about Denver is they haven't beaten, like, who they've played and who they have or haven't beaten.
Well, I don't like Denver's margin of victory.
Okay.
I like W's, but margin of victory, it's Seahawks, Rams, and then us. Like, we blast the bad teams. Yeah. 14 wins is nothing to shake a stick at. And it feels people are looking at the Patriots like, you know what?
Who is? But that's my question. Who?
People.
Who are? What?
A guy named Brian.
But what do you want people to say about
I want Brian to say your 14 wins are legitimate.
You can put me in that. I mean,
Brian and
no, I'm just saying, like, you're one of the. I don't think you're the definite favorite in the AFC.
No, it's wide open.
Is that what you want?
No, it's wide open.
I mean,
yes,
it should be.
I think we're the favorite. I think that we should
and
be the
your
favorite.
team is young. Your coach is, new. Your quarterback is in his second year. Like, those are all reasons people are just wondering what they're going to do in the playoffs.
The only thing I don't like, and if you want to say, like, hey, you played Cincinnati without Joe Burrow, is that the schedule was out all year. And now that we started stacking wins, it feels like there would be less criticism if we lost to the Falcons like the Rams did. Rams lost to the Falcons. We didn't, so we get penalized for that. Bills lost to the Dolphins. We didn't, so that's a bad one. Texans lost to the Bucs.
To the Raiders.
We lost to the Raiders.
But what do you mean get penalized for it? That's what I'm asking.
Because when this is how I view it. When we beat the Falcons, when we beat the Panthers, when we beat the Bucs, people are like, easy schedule. When the Seahawks lose to the Bucs, when the Texans lose to the Bucs, when the Bills lose to the Dolphins, when the Rams lose to the Falcons, like, aberration game.
You're right, KW, that teams that in our analysis at times we reward good victories more than we penalize bad losses. So those teams get bumped up because, they had these bad losses, but we've seen them beat these teams. What I reject is I just showed you something that says in the history of the league, you played one of the 8 easiest schedules. This millennia, as you like it, you played the easiest schedule. That That has to account for something. It's not like, well, every year somebody has the 32nd ranked schedule. It's
the fact that we've won 13 games. The other graphic that refutes. I just want to be like, you guys have a good chance at winning the Super Bowl.
There you go. Everybody thinks that.
Excellent chance at winning the Super Bowl.
Everybody thinks you guys have a decent shot.
No, excellent. The 3 easiest schedules, the top 2 teams won the Super Bowl. The question marks feel like you're going to the conference. Really, you're either going to the conference championship or winning the Super Bowl.
Well, okay. There's 5 teams. There's 5 results
the easiest schedule.
3 of the 5 went to the Super Bowl.
3 went to Super Bowl. 1 lost to the championship
4 went
round.
to the championship
1 lost
game.
their first playoff game. Lost the divisional round.
4 went to the championship game.
So we should be going to the AFC Championship game. Not you've got such an easy schedule.
That's what you guys should do.
You guys are one and done. It's a lot of that. Patriots are one and done.
KW, from who?
Brian! I told you a guy named Brian.
This is the guy people don't like. From who?
A guy named Brian online.
Nearly home. Isn't home where we all want to be? Reba here for Realtor.com, the pros' #1 most trusted app. Finding a home is like dating. You're not just looking for a place to live, you're searching for the one. That's where Realtor.com comes in. Like any good matchmaker, they know exactly where to look. With over 500,000 new real listings straight from the pros every month, you could find your perfect match today. Ranch style with a pool, barn dominium with an in-law suite, Realtor.com's got them. Modern craftsman with a big yard and a treehouse out back, Realtor.com will have you saying, yep, that's the one. No more swiping. It's time to start finding. Download the Realtor.com app today, cause you're nearly home. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Pros #1 most trusted app based on August 2024 proprietary survey. Over 500,000 new listings every month based on average new for sale and rental listings. February 2024 through January 2025.
Panthers underdogs in Tampa Bay against a Bucs team that's fallen off a cliff. They've lost 4 in a row and 7 of their last 8 since the bye. Baker's also banged up. Take a listen.
It's the ebbs and flows of the game. It's a long season. It's a very physical game. Everybody has to deal with injuries. Obviously, we've had a ton of them and had to adjust, but that's never an excuse. So we are where we are and just have to take care of business.
I like Happy Baker. More on the line tomorrow. Bryce or Baker, Greg?
Bryce Young. Look, I understand. We know who Baker is. I don't think that Baker losing this game, we're going to all of a sudden say, you know what? Baker's back to the old Baker, even though he's playing through injury.
Who's the real Baker? The MVP candidate Baker or this Baker?
I think the last couple years, that's Baker. Okay. He's playing through injury. We've seen him try to play through injury in Cleveland.
He's not good with. He's not a good play through injury.
He's not. We've seen that version. Yeah. With that being said, this is Bryce Young. The writing has been on the wall. Like, either you are the guy or you aren't. Now, the writing that I'm talking about that's been on the wall is you're not the guy. So at least add something to this wall that makes us doubt what we've been writing on the wall.
Every once in a while, he's like, maybe you are the guy.
Exactly. And if he wins in this moment, then he just buys himself a little more time. Because he's not, and unfortunately, because he's played so poorly in his first few years, you don't get the sense of it's over, it's absolutely over, because he's had moments and he's a first-round draft pick. He's going to get a chance down the road. Maybe we've seen it happen. But for this franchise, you got to win because the writing has been on the wall. You haven't delivered at all, and you have an opportunity to deliver against Baker Mayfield and this Bucs team that's been kind of spiraling. You got to come through.
I agree with a lot of what you said. I disagree. I'm not sure we know who Baker is unless we think he's just up and down. You know, maybe the injuries is the reason for this whole thing. But I do agree with you that Bryce has more on the line. And even if they make the playoffs, we still aren't like he's the guy. Like you said, it just buys you some time. Right now he looks like not a good quarterback. I mean, these are his ranks. Even in a year where they're winning. And this is his
best season.
Now I credit him in that he has improved every season. It's a slow thing, but he has improved all 3 years. But if they lose this game, and it was just a, what would they be, 8-9 season, even if they win it, make the playoffs, and get beaten the first round, if I'm Carolina, they're probably looking at, do we just bring somebody in, a la Indianapolis, a Daniel Jones type, maybe it's Malik Willis, if they could get a Mac Jones, I don't know, Kyler Murray, but bring somebody in to push him and compete, see who wins the job. But that's best case scenario. Like, we don't know that he's the guy. He needs to win to try to buy himself another chance.
He just has to win. He just has to win this game. There's no, like, how much more time are we going to give Bryce? Coaches and time. He's won every other game since October 19th. So every time he has a bad game, he pops with a good game. Like, I don't believe in them. They beat the Rams. Oh, I don't know if I believe in them.
A Bryce good game.
Right. He's only had 3 games of 200 or more yards.
But then he'll go down and have like a 45-yard game. This is a mandatory win for Bryce. Just quickly on this graphic, I know you like number 1 picks. This is it. This is year 3. So it's not like, well, I finally made it in year 4. QB drafted number 1 in the last 10 year, first playoff appearance. Goff's 2, Baker 3,
all
Kyler
of them
3,
made it.
Burrow
Wow.
2, Trevor 2, Bryce, we're still waiting. Caleb 2, Cam's not going to make it. But if it's Cam in year 3 and he doesn't make it, you would think,
So
that is interesting.
The yards per attempt and their yards per game kill me for Bryce. So like I know, Brew, you and I might value upper end yard per game totals differently, but the guys who aren't throwing with regularity for 200 yards per game in the modern NFL, you just can't win that way. And it is all dink and dunk stuff, and it has been his whole career. So this is what I would argue. You should not make a decision based on one game.
No.
They know he's not the guy.
Yeah.
And so, like, what I'm saying is, if the Panthers would be like, if we lose this game, here's going to be our path forward at quarterback, then even if you win it, that should be your path forward at quarterback. Now, if you win it and then he goes on a magical playoff run and then reserve the right to change your opinion there. But there's also a scenario where they lose, he plays poorly, but then the Falcons win Sunday and they're in the playoffs anyway. Because the Panthers go if they win or if the Falcons win. They have a 5th-year option decision on Bryce this summer. I would not be picking that up.
Panthers 3-5 on the road.
I think if they win, they'll pick it up, though.
Live from New York. It's a show that has at least one person rooting for Bryce Young. Friend of the show.
Yeah,
Are you rooting for
I
Bryce
like
Young?
both guys. I'd like to see Carolina get in. That'd be a good story.
I'm not rooting against anyone. I just have a job to do. That's true, but I just have a job to do.
This is your Super Bowl pick.
I understand, but Tampa can win and not even get into the playoffs. Like, they don't even control their own destiny. I just want it to be clear.
You can't dump your Super Bowl team if they're in the playoffs. I forgot about that.
Ask the rose that I had in my mouth with the Rams, because
I don't know what happened.
You can't do that.
The quarterback got hurt, KW.
He's starting. He's playing every game. What are you talking about?
Out on the Ravens right now.
I stuck with the Ravens. I hung in there.
Until they're
Drew's been out on
about taking integrity,
on
folks.
the Packers since Michael
still
went
in
down.
on the Packers.
Drew, who you got winning the NFC?
The Packers.
Exactly. No base.
Right now.
Nothing. Exactly.
Today, an update on the Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones feud. It's still going. Although Jerry Jones he's got some good tweets. I understand it. Meanwhile, is Myles Garrett going to get the sack record against Joe Burrow? But right now, we're headed to Pittsburgh, Baltimore against the Steelers. Battle of 2 quarterbacks that have 6 MVPs between them, but both have fallen on some tough times. Lamar literally missing last week's game, but he says he's good to go this week. Rodgers played last week, but he was missing his game. You know what I mean?
Good one, Miles.
He's going to bounce back.
Rematch of Week 14. Greg, what do you look? Greg's just laughing so hard at my joke.
Your joke, it was hilarious.
Steelers won 27-22. Here's the weird part when we talked about how good Gainwell is going to be. Steelers only rushed for 34 yards. It was really Aaron Rodgers doing all the damage through the air.
Yeah.
Well, it was DK Metcalf doing damage after the catch.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
How many yards?
And the refs that took that.
Oh, the refs.
Catch
oh,
away.
Oh, the refs.
That catch,
the refs.
was that a catch, Greg? Isaiah Likely?
These guys.
I know Greg knows.
They said it wasn't a catch.
Refs.
More pressure on Lamar or Aaron Rodgers?
I'll be shocked if either of you say anybody but Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
I mean, I don't look. Everything Aaron Rodgers does is gravy at this point. He's a made man. He's got his Super Bowl. He's got all his MVPs. He's legendary. Sure, if he won another Super Bowl, he can add to that. But really, even if he doesn't win this game and make the playoffs, he'll get bashed for a day or two. Oh, he couldn't go there and, get the Steelers in the playoffs. But it won't really be any big deal. He's 42 years old. He's without two of his best weapons, too, in the tight end, Darnell Washington, and obviously DK Metcalf, his best weapon. TJ Watt looks like he may play.
TJ Watt says he's going to play.
But Lamar, he's the better QB. He's in his prime. You won't even be able to say, well, you can't blame him for one game, because had he played better against Pittsburgh before and Cincinnati, they probably aren't even in this position where it's a do or die situation. That's not to mention all of the noise, as he called it, that's out there. True or not, who knows at this point? There's so many contradictions, but still, it is out there. All right. And so there is so much. I think it is all riding on Lamar. And it's not even close to me whose the pressure's on.
Yeah, this is all about Lamar Jackson. Like, he's answering, to your point, questions in the media about, are you sleeping in meetings now? Right. Do you want to be here? All these questions are surrounding Lamar Jackson simply because he hasn't been available, or when he has been available, he hasn't been the Lamar MVP version. And rightfully so. But I think what also is going to put a magnifying glass on how we watch this game is what we saw last week. How that offense looked, what they did from a play calling standpoint. They had a clear identity. They established dominance on the offensive line. ran Derrick Henry, had success on the road. Well, one would say against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense that has been up and down, obviously they generate turnovers. Can you not run the ball? Well, you did it. You just showed the stats. You can run the ball against them, so we know that. Lamar, can you not turn the ball over? Because that's the issue.
And
he doesn't
take brutal sacks.
He doesn't play well against this team. So there's reason to believe that, and there's stats that are supported based on his playoff experience and record. He doesn't perform against this team and in the
biggest spots.
The brightest and biggest spots. So yes, Lamar Jackson, it's all about what is he going to look like? Can he deliver in this moment?
It's also, the Ravens this year are 8-8. They are 6-6 in the games Lamar plays. They are 2-2 in the games he does not. They have two great wins this year against the Packers and against the Bears. I think those are the two best teams they have beaten. Those games happened without Lamar. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Lamar is better than Lamar's one of the 15, maybe even 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time. Mm-hmm. He turns 29 next week, so he's in his prime. He's better than Tyler Huntley. That is not the same thing as saying the Ravens have played better with Lamar than they have with Tyler Huntley this year, because they really haven't. It's been they're two of their best offensive performances of the season, two of them, not the two, were with Huntley. The very best was week 1 with Lamar. But here's the other reason that the answer is Lamar. If they miss the playoffs this year, and it's another year where Lamar doesn't get the opportunity to exercise the one real demon, which is his lack of playoff success, do you think he is a favorite to ever win a Super Bowl?
A favorite? Like,
do you think do you think it is more likely than not? If someone says to you, hey,
every year,
even at any
I think if he
moving forward, will he at any point, like, if someone said to you, hey, this, I know you don't gamble, but just pretend this bet pays out at retirement, you can bet yes or no.
Gee whiz.
Will Lamar Jackson win a Super Bowl? Will Lamar Jackson make a Super Bowl? He turns 29 this offseason. We think if they lose, he's going to deal with a head coaching change. It is like,
I love this, first of all, because I feel like we have allotted
a lot of Super Bowls to a lot of guys.
Yes, it's like name 10 guys for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
We've got
You've
the next
given
10
5
years,
to Drake.
15 guys are going to win this. Mahomes
Correct.
will win another one. Burrow will get one. Josh will get one. Drake will get one. Oh, Caleb all of a sudden get one. So
it was nice you to only say Drake will get one, KW. I know you were.
I mean,
like 3 to 6.
I don't think anyone says that.
Jalen Hurts, who's
Brock
going to be Terry Bradshaw.
Maybe.
Brew, I mean, you're the Lamar guy. Do you think that's fair? What I'm saying?
I do. Look, if they don't make the playoffs this year and they came out next year and were 14-3 and Lamar's looking like the old Lamar, I think they could go into the playoffs favored. So I
don't mean will they be a Vegas favorite. I'm saying would you say yes or no if you were asking?
I still think what he does in the regular season.
Through at some point.
Yeah, I could see.
It'd have to be a coaching change or adding a major weapon.
I mean, I'm not saying he'll definitely win one. I'm just saying there'll be things he could do to make me think.
I would just be nervous if I'm the Ravens, man. Like this, because the other thing is this. I looked it up, all the quarterbacks with at least, I think, 3,500 rushing yards. And how long was their prime and when did it end? So, like, Donovan McNabb's last really great year, he was 30. Steve McNair was 30. Steve Young's weird because he didn't really become a starter till he was 31. So that one, he was 37.
But guys also, I would say, overall are playing longer.
They're playing longer, but like, so then I'll take out Randall Cunningham, who was 31. Russell Wilson played a long time. His last really good year, he was 32. Mike was 30. His is weird because of because he had league. And Cam famously was 28. So
but shoot, Cam had more hits in one.
And by the way, this is also a Josh. This applies to Josh Allen too, because Josh Allen's has similar yardage number, and more bruising style. But what we haven't seen with Josh is the injury-riddled year that we're seeing from Lamar right now. And so it's just, I just feel like every year that you have one of these guys in their prime and you don't get in the tournament is an abject disaster. It's why if I were Cincy, I'd be firing the coach. If I were Baltimore, I'd be very nervous. And so there's just so much pressure on them to, as you've said, in a wide-open AFC, get in and see what happens.
It's not like any team's got 14 wins in the AFC.
Nobody. Well, no.
Oh! It's time now for a segment so hot, my grandmother...
You guys don't have 14 wins, buddy.
Put me in the car, drove to a bridge somewhere I'd never seen before, took this segment out of her purse, one of the handkerchief, and threw it into the water. Said, "You didn't see anything." It's that hot. It's upset alert. I don't know what it was, and I barely remember it, but I didn't see anything.
She had illicit firearms and...
Whoa! I didn't see anything. I just know she took one of her handkerchiefs, picked something out of her purse, and threw it into a river. That's how hot this segment is. It's upset alert. Greg, here's the standings before we get to you.
Let's look at it.
It is hot.
Great week last week, KW.
4.5.
4.5 points.
Wow.
You could catch them.
Yes, you could.
I could?
Not this week,
Is
but
it
by the
really?
Super Bowl, yeah.
When does it end?
yeah,
The
playoffs.
Super Bowl.
Huh. That's interesting.
You're not dead. You're alive. Brew's in
life
trouble.
support.
Brew needs.
One of the issues is the photo.
Yeah, you look.
Yeah, give me a better photo. I think that may
You need
be
to
my
be like
problem.
you're determined, bro.
Coach went to the Carolina.
Congratulations, Greg. Excellent
that
job.
was enough.
Brew, you came this close to getting a cover. Jags hit a field goal late.
I've been close a lot.
Yeah.
I've been close a lot.
I've been hearing that every week.
Oh, gee whiz. A lot of animosity.
Yeah, little buddy
I'm
rivalry.
congratulating Greg. Excellent job, man. You were fantastic this year.
I don't need it. Look, this week I'm going down to going to Atlanta, but to Bayou. I'm going with the Saints.
Interesting.
Oh, I looked at that one. Yeah.
Oh man! Look, I know.
I like that a lot.
Look, I know we don't talk about these teams because they're not going into the postseason, But, oh, shucks. He's been balling.
He's good.
Last 4 weeks. Don't care who their opponents are, America. Look at these numbers. He's been putting them up. Obviously, we see the win-loss record. The completion percentage is up there. Passing yards, passer rating. You have to feel really good if you are rooting for these Saints from now into next season because of what you're seeing out of your young quarterback. And defensively, they've been decent as well, only allowing 16.5 points a game for the last 3 games. Again, I don't care who you've been playing.
Tell me about it.
We don't care.
The
fact that you've been rolling. Now, mind you, they're playing the Atlanta Falcons. I know everybody's nervous because of what Atlanta did, and they did it against the Rams. But this is who Atlanta has been all season long. They win a big game, prime time. Yep. We saw it with the Bills. And then, Atlanta being Atlanta all over again. Yeah. So even though Atlanta is hosting the Saints going to come marching in. They're going to get it done.
Wow. That was great. That was a lot of.
That'd be great.
That would have been a great must win.
Yeah.
It would be great.
Like, Baker has to have
all he has to do is win.
Yeah.
All right. 2 of my hometowns going at it. I have to pick one. Browns over the Bengals. That's 7.5 points, I believe. Yes, 7.5.
10.5 because you get the 3-point bonus.
Ooh-wee. I'll be right on your tail, Wild.
Not necessarily, I don't think.
Look, obviously Cincinnati has a weak defense. Yeah. I think Shadour's going to cook. I think he's going to give Cleveland.
Because he's one of these he's going to hit. He's like, he going to.
Did he not? Who was that he hit against? Was that Tennessee?
Well, they lost to the Titans. But
huge game against Tennessee.
Yeah.
He is going to give the Browns something to think about this offseason.
Okay.
Because he's going to go out with a bang. I also think the Browns are more hyped about this last game than the Bengals are. Because one, they are coming off a big win over the Steelers. They maybe ruined the Steelers season.
Yeah.
2, they got the Myles Garrett sack record that they're all gung-ho about. They want to get it for him. All right. And conversely, I think the Bengals are just like, let's just get it over with. It's been it's been a disappointing year.
Well, they were great last week. The Bengals were.
That wasn't the last. That wasn't the last game.
Joe Burrow's just in mid-season form, though.
Yeah,
played a handful of games.
I just think they're going to be like, let's just get this thing over with. And Burrow struggles against the Browns. Y'all talking about Lamar against the Steelers? He's 4-5 against the Browns, and Browns we know haven't been good throughout that stretch or every year.
Yeah.
So I see an upset coming in the Ohio
Myles Garrett
State
goes and gets him.
Yes, Myles gets it. In fact, Myles breaks even the unofficial record, which is 23 sacks from Al Bubba Baker, 1978 rookie year.
You remember Al Bubba Baker?
I do. I remember rooting for just that whole season.
Wow.
He was a rookie. Took the league by storm.
I was like, I can remember that. He was shocked.
Y'all weren't even born.
It's like, I remember that fondly. Time now for the Puxatawny Phil of football to make his upset alert. Why do they call you the Puxatawny Phil of football? You cover the fur and live in a log? Just a coincidence. This is a perfect upset alert. Perfect for 2 reasons. 1, because I think it's going to happen. 2, because I need it to happen. Chargers, straight up over the Broncos. The number 1 seed goes to New England? Yep, that is what would end up happening. First up, favored by more than 8. 14, 15, and 2, the rest of the NFL. Broncos are 0-5. Remember, when they win games, but they win them tight. Against good teams, bad teams, doesn't matter. They just win tight. They've had one of the easiest schedules this century.
But you think they're going to lose, though?
You're picking them outright. I mean, you have no choice.
Luck. All right.
You guys don't get the 1 seed if the Chargers cover. You get the 1 seed if they win.
Look, here's what I want to happen.
Right.
It gets close, and then something weird happens.
Yeah.
Broncos last week against the Chiefs, who didn't have Patrick Mahomes, didn't even have Gardner Minshew. Guess what? Couldn't really move the ball. And I don't know if the Chargers defense is going to show up and play like that with Herbert gone. Trey Lance under center since Herbert is relaxing. Last start we saw from Trey Lance, week 18 for the Cowboys, 244 yards, 26 on the ground. So maybe could do a little bit more.
Nick's guy.
Do they have a lot to play for? Seeding a little bit. Keenan Allen has a lot to play for, Greg. $1 million on the line. 6 catches, $750K. 2 touchdowns, $250. It seems like tough to get. 9 receiving yards, that's right. Yeah. $250,000. Get 134 receiving yards, you get $250,000. Like, hey, Trey Lance, Keenan Allen's going to be getting the ball.
He needs 6 catches, and he gets $1 million is the way to look at it. Because the 9 yards would come. Yeah. Can he get him 6 catches?
It's going to be frustrating. It's going to be hot in the locker room if he don't get him no 6 catches.
Yeah.
At least give him the 6 catches.
He'll get there. Time now for a red-hot Knicks pick.
Oh, wow. We're getting right to it. Thank you, KW. Well, last week we were 1-2. However,
wow, the lock hit, though.
The lock did hit. Jags, 5.5-point favorite. Never a doubt, even though it took an odd field goal at the end, so they won by 6. Steelers, 3-point favorite against the Browns. I got to be totally honest with America. That happened to also be one of my picks and one of the biggest bets I've made in the NFL all year. The moment the Ravens won, I was like, well, now the Steelers have to win. Obviously, they're going to win. I watched that game alongside Danny Parkins and the warm, awful blue moons he brought to my house, and they kicked him out.
Well, I didn't even think about that. They were warm.
It was.
Why didn't you just buy them from like the corner bodega?
You guys, I don't know, man. I'm just telling you, it wasn't fun. And then at night, the Bills 1.5-point favorites. As soon as they scored the touchdown, and I see Sean McDermott do the stupid little 2 thing, I'm like, well, I'm screwed either way. I mean, whether he played for overtime, Sean. The Eagles hadn't completed a pass.
Yeah, that's obvious.
We get it back this week. Only a game and a half behind Parkins because he went 0-3.
But you're 500. You're making money if
I'm at 500. No, I'm not making money yet, but it's fine. Seahawks 1.5. Sam Darnold. I believe in you.
No, you don't.
Kinda. Here's what I believe in. Wow. I believe that the Niners defense is a sheep in wolf's clothing. You don't hear that often. It's usually wolf in sheep's clothing. This is the opposite.
Sheep and wolf. Yeah, I like that.
A sheep. Yeah, it's actually bad, but it looks scary because it's Niners defense and it's Robert Saleh and they're the 1 seed. It's not good.
Yeah, that's right.
I think Caleb Williams is really good. He looked like, peak Patrick Mahomes last week against that defense. Sam Darnold. Throw to Jackson Smith and Jigba. Take care of the ball. You can't have what happened last year happen again. You guys can win the Super Bowl if you win this game. Be the 1 seed. Get a week off. Lay in just 1.5. Win by a field goal. I believe in the Seahawks this week. I think the Niners have had a great season. Have they had number 1 seed in the toughest division in the tougher conference season? No.
Easiest schedule in the league.
No, they didn't have these. I'm going to strangle you, Wild.
Preseason easiest schedule.
Yes, but then
the 10th.
Yes,
toughest.
but the difference is, the games were played because those teams won games. KW, not against the Niners.
Listen to Warren Sharp.
Put KW on camera.
Hey.
The Niners schedule.
Easiest schedule.
They didn't have an easy schedule.
They played the Cardinals.
I'm going to
twice.
They played the Rams twice.
The Rams were good.
They're
playing the Niners. They're playing the Seahawks. I mean, whatever. Next.
Don't let him get you out.
What are you doing with this?
Taking the Raiders plus
Gino.
5.5.
They're trying to lose.
Well, guess what? Here's what I know. I know that with all due respect to my beloved Kansas City Chiefs, they should not be laying nearly a touchdown against anyone right now. They are. I also know this. The Chiefs have the opportunity to cost the Raiders the number 1 pick. They're in the division. That sounds like a good thing to do. Also, the Chiefs are on their 3rd-string quarterback, gonna be missing 4/5 of their offensive line, both starting receivers, most of their defense. They're not a 5-and-out. I'd watch this offense post Mahomes. Sorry, didn't mean to say that. It's not good. I'm not laying 5.5 points. The Raiders can win outright. The Raiders will cover. KW, they scored.
I know, but it's 2013.
They are the Chiefs are the favorites. The Chiefs can win this game, and I win. They have, since Mahomes went down, they've scored 9. They have scored 13. It averages to 11 points a game. Can the Raiders get to 6? I think so. I'll take the Raiders plus 5.5. And last but not least, Mike Tomlin, as a divisional home underdog, is quite simply, Vegas-wise, the greatest coach in NFL history. Mike Tomlin, as an underdog against the Ravens the last decade, is peak Vince Lombardi. I am getting more than 3.5 points from the home team in a matchup that every time they play a big game feels like it's a field goal at the end to win it. I think the Steelers win outright. I certainly think if they don't win outright, it's a 3-point loss. I'll take the full 3.5. So I am taking Seattle -1.5, despite KW's thoughts on the Niners schedule, and the Raiders +5.5, despite KW's thoughts on the Chiefs against the Broncos, and the Steelers +3.5, despite the fact that Brew desperately needs the Ravens to win.
Desperately.
Do you have a question, KW?
I just feel like the Raiders are trying to lose this game.
Okay, that's not the question I wanted you to ask. You do this every week.
You're Mr. Consistency. The lock of the week. I forgot about that. The lock is moderately new. The lock is moderately new to the program.
The lock is slinging Sam Darnold -1.5.
Oh, you're the Sam Darnold guy on the show.
For today, I am. There's the Week 18
Excellent
picks. Thanks.
Micah is feuding with Jerry? What?
Wherever Bud goes, his harmonica goes with him. It's a pocket full of soul. Now he's living with prostate cancer. He asked his doctor about Xtandi enzalutamide. Xtandi 40 milligram tablets treats men with prostate cancer that has spread to other parts of the body and responds to a medical or surgical treatment to lower testosterone. Xtandi may cause serious side effects: seizure, a brain condition called PRESS, allergic reactions, heart disease that can lead to death, falls and bone fractures, swallowing problems, or choking that can lead to death. Stop Xtandi and get medical help at once if your face, tongue, lip, or throat start swelling. Tell your doctor at once if you faint, have a seizure, quickly worsening headache, decreased alertness, confusion, vision problems, chest pain or discomfort, or shortness of breath. Xtandi can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during and 3 months after Xtandi. Common side effects include muscle and joint pain, feeling unusually tired, hot flashes, constipation, less appetite, diarrhea, high blood pressure, bleeding, falls, fractures, and headache. Talk to your doctor and visit Xtandi.com.
Holiday Bowl is tonight. I was telling you, all week long. It's next year. It turns out it's tonight, 2026. Arizona, SMU, 7:30 Eastern, only on Fox. Welcome back to First Things First. Micah Parsons recovering from his ACL, but his tweet game already in peak form, ready to start the season. If tweeting was the game, a few tweets here. Here's one defending his new teammate Trayvon Diggs, who after PFF said, "Here's some bad stats about him." Just give the man a farewell. It wasn't related to the Cowboys, nevertheless. He has another one here with laughing emojis. After Matt Eberflus admitted things changed for the defense when they lost an all-pro pass rusher who can win quick. But you can't look back. I actually thought that one was a compliment. And then Micah Parsons responded to people criticizing him. What, you want me to feel bad? Jerry Jones slandered my name to the Cowboys media and national media for months. So I do think I can react to comment if I want to, respectfully. Reaction to Micah's latest tweet storm.
I don't have any problem with what Micah did, but it pains me to say this. I feel like he's still hurt. Like, we all know, it's well documented, he wanted to be a Cowboy all his life until the day he died, in his words, you know? And so he's in a better football situation. He has a better chance of winning the Super Bowl. Obviously, he got huge money. But when you're injured and you're not, the team isn't looking as good and all that, that's when it sets in that I'm not a Cowboy. Because nothing, as good as Green Bay is historically, the Cowboys like the Lakers, the Knicks just in name are big, the Celtics. It's like one of those prestigious franchises, and nothing matches the grandeur of being a Cowboy, even though they don't win. And I think now that he's hurt and out, I just think, again, I have no problem with what he's saying, but I think some of it's coming from, the pain that he's no longer a Cowboy.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it definitely it's sinking in when you're sideline and you now have to watch. You start listening to things, but I don't like it. I didn't like it because he was doing such a great job of just being locked in. You
thought he was going to say
I did too.
I thought for a minute.
Correction. Yeah.
Is that why you look like
that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really don't like it because he's been so dialed in and appearing to have moved on, rightfully so, because he was playing. And if he decides to engage and kind of allow his emotions to flood after the season, cool. Right now, Micah, your team is going to be entering into the postseason. Just generate all your resources to those guys who are going to be playing. I don't want to hear about this. I understand about the loyalty and feeling and still being in your feelings when you depart from a team and an organization, but there's nothing you can do about it now. Just deal with that in off season.
I would feel like you do if he were still playing, like if he were healthy. But even him hurt, do you think this could affect the locker room?
No, I don't think it can affect the locker room, but I just don't think it's necessary right now because it's all the attention needs to be focused on how can we help these guys who are going to be filling in these big shoes be prepared to play a big game.
So that's why to me it is noteworthy that this did start. The genesis of this was a Cowboys beat reporter tweeted out Trayvon Diggs' PFF stats.
Oh, a Cowboy. Okay.
So that there was, and so
that makes sense.
And so which I don't think the beat reporter was doing anything wrong at all. I think he was making it clear,
why the Cowboys
moved on.
Yep.
But that is what. Then that's why Micah's like, move on. He was, because like as we've talked about before, there is at times a confusion amongst athletes about what the beat reporters who are in the facility every week, what the actual job is. It was, who was it that said that? Shador, when he said questions like this don't, help us achieve our goals.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, so this all started because he was trying to support a former teammate who is now a current teammate because the Packers picked up Trayvon Diggs. So that's where it started. And I do think that Micah is allowed, and he's waited longer, and he still hasn't really fully done it, a victory lap. Jerry Jones was adamant. This was a win-now move for the Dallas Cowboys, that they would be better because of Micah's deficiencies, that they were going to use those resources to sign other players. They did that. They used those resources to deal with, dead money, as it turns out, from bad contracts that he gave out, like Trayvon Diggs is. Use those draft picks to trade for other players like Quinnen Williams. And that team was mediocre all year, and the problem was its defense. And so, I still, whenever I think about this Cowboys season, I will think about the missed opportunity of unforced error in the Micah negotiations and moving on from one of the true game-wrecking defensive players of his generation, which he is. A guy who, even though he blew out his knee and didn't get to play the whole year, once again, got his 12-plus sacks, which he's done every year of his career. You saw his impact even in the games when he had no stats because it felt like he was being double and triple teamed. And Micah, all year long, it would have been, kind of talking about your ex when you're in a new relationship, and it wouldn't have been productive if during the year he had been tweeting out Cowboys defensive numbers and things like that. But because
wild.
You didn't think that was possible when they traded him, we thought he might still do his podcast. I thought that it could be a story all year long.
Yeah.
He stopped doing the podcast, he didn't talk about it at all. And then, he took this opportunity. But I do think Jerry talked more about Micah post-trade than Micah did about Jerry. So I thought it was in bounds.
I don't think Jerry regrets the trade, although I think if Micah was still there, they had a great chance of making the playoffs.
Correct, yeah.
But I don't think Jerry regrets it.
No, on the fan, this is from John Machota, from Jerry. I'd love to have Micah on the team. We just couldn't afford him. We wanted 4 to 5 players more than we did him. But he's outstanding, and I understand his sensitivity and can even understand these comments.
Yeah, the 4 to 5 players thing is just a misnomer. It's just like it's just you can't say you wanted 4 to 5 players for Micah Parsons when you ended up trading 3/4 of what you got back from Micah Parsons for one player in Quinnen Williams. To me, that logic falls apart.
Myles Garrett going for the sack record. His target, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's playing out the year with no chance of making the playoffs. Here he is.
I'm certainly not going to overcompensate either way. I'm not going to go out of my way to not let him get the record, and I'm not going to go out of my way to let him get the record either. I'm going to go and play football. There's going to be situations that a sack is the best of the bad outcomes of that play, and maybe I take one. And there's going to be other situations that I'm about to get sacked, and I need to throw it away in that situation. It's such a situational game.
I do not think that was Aaron Rodgers' mindset last week. Burrow, since entering the league, has taken 240 sacks. So he's got his own record. That's the most since 2020, and took 545 hits as the fourth most. Brew, what does this mean if Myles doesn't sack Joe?
Well, first let me say, because you brought up Rodgers, Burrow, that's the mature way you should look at this. Like, this is not about Joe Burrow or whatever quarterback would get sacked on Myles Garrett's record-breaking sack. And Aaron Rodgers made it about himself. The only reason it's about Brett Favre with Strahan is because Brett Favre went down. Mm-hmm. If he didn't go down, abnormally, we wouldn't even we might not even remember it was Brett Favre. So I just think that Rodgers that was the wrong mentality last week. Probably ego got in the way and all that. It really doesn't matter who he sacks. But as far as Myles Garrett, it'll be obviously a huge disappointment. And it's just because 6 weeks ago, he was on pace for about 27, and the record is 22 and a half. So if you look at his season, he had a 4-game stretch where he had 13 sacks. And that's what made it oh my gosh, beginning of the season, first 6 games, he had 5 sacks. These last 5 games, he's had 4, which is a good pace. Right. That's 13 sacks a year. Would be in the top 5. But it was that 4-game stretch where it was oh my gosh. So now if he doesn't do it, it will feel like a failure. And so I hope he gets it. I think he'll get 2 sacks at least. Wow. Yeah, I think he's going to get 2 at least and break the record, but it'll feel like a failure if he doesn't get it, unfortunately. And he may never get this close again. So he's got to get it.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I think it'll be a disappointment. I said that. But also, what's frustrating about this is it would be a huge failure and disappointment as it pertains to the Browns offense. Because if you just can give him a lead, you talk about the games that when he started chasing this record 6 weeks ago, we were talking about, man, is he going to shatter it? Well, when you look at this Browns team and what they're not able to do, they're not able to play with the lead. So that leaves Myles Garrett, Browns' second half this year, they have the 6th fewest defensive snaps. If you give him something to work with, which is a simple lead, not so simple for the Cleveland Browns, as we've all come to find out this season, then he clearly has this. So I think it's incumbent upon your guy who you picked in the upset alert, Shedeur Sanders, because he's going to have a big game, said Chris Broussard, to get this man the lead so we cannot see and feel this disappointment that we would all possibly have.
Yeah, I mean, failure feels like too harsh.
It won't be, but it'll feel that way.
It'll definitely be a disappointment because he's sitting at 22, exactly. He had 21 and a half after week 14. I'm sorry, after game 14, week 15. Because the games 15 and 16, he had a combined half sack, and then we'll see. So if you have 3 weeks to get a sack and a half to break the record, when up to that point in time you're averaging a sack and a half a game, which is what he was, it will feel like a huge disappointment. And we haven't seen someone on a record that we care about be this close and then not close it. Like last year, Saquon's single-season rushing total record, remember, he punted on it, like to some level of controversy. And
it wasn't like he was way out in front of
way out in front of the pace. It was always going to be neck and neck. But I agree with Brew. I don't think they're going to win, but I think he's going to get it. Joe Burrow stands in that pocket, man. Joe Burrow takes hits and.
We are counting down to Ravens Steelers. All during the break, we were talking about getting the hospital bed back for Brew. Are you sure you want that, Brew? It's kind of a costly.
The bed? I've been talking about the robe. Y'all been talking about that behind my back?
Harbaugh has been the coach of this team for most of their existence.
You don't believe my prognostication?
But this year has been a bumpy road. looking at a lose-and-go-home game in Pittsburgh. Is Harbaugh coaching for his job on Sunday, bro?
He should be. He absolutely should be. I don't even think it should be a question. They have been one of the handful of most disappointing teams in the league this season. And their last few years have ended disappointingly. Look, I'm not going to kill them for the loss to Buffalo last year in the playoffs, but that was certainly a game they could have won. The Chiefs lost. They stopped running the ball. Even they didn't have Derrick Henry, but they had a great run game that year. They stopped running the ball. Then it was penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, all types of stuff of an undisciplined team. And remember, Harbaugh was on the verge of, at least the talk was, he might lose his job before he started Lamar.
Yeah.
With Lamar's rookie year, after winning that Super Bowl, they missed the playoffs for the next 5 years. And then Lamar comes along. They were on the verge of missing the playoffs again. Lamar is made the starter, and the rest is history. But it's not that I don't think John Harbaugh is a good coach, but I just think 18 years there, voices can get stale. We know a great coach like an Andy Reid was fired. Like good coaches can be fired. If Sean McDermott, I don't think he'll get fired if they go out early this year, but he might.
If they lose in the first round, he could be fired.
Nobody's going to say he's not a good coach, and he'll get swapped up quickly in another job. So it's not that Harbaugh is not a good coach, but it is time, I believe, for a new voice if they go out early. I think he has to get at least a playoff victory. I kind of feel like to the AFC Championship game, but I don't know if they'll make that what he needs to because they'll look at the injuries and say, well, we were banged up this year. But, yeah, I think he should be coaching for his job.
So I'm with you. I think he is coaching for his job. When you have a guy like Lamar Jackson and you just you don't have the breakthrough success. And I know a lot of us deem success as you're in the playoffs and you're having success in the playoffs.
Got to make a Super Bowl.
With that type of a talent, he's been MVP.
And around him, too.
He's been MVP twice.
First team All-Pro 3 times, MVP
He's been MVP twice. You've had the MVP of the league twice, and you haven't made it to the Super Bowl. There has to be this feeling of, man, maybe if we get somebody else in here, he can catapult us to at least getting to we're not even talking about winning it, getting us to the biggest stage that we all play for. You have one of the best players of this decade, and you haven't even been there. You have to get there. And so for me, when I see Lamar and kind of the issues that they've had, the questions that are lingering, these questions don't just come up because, oh, you know what, everything's great. They come up when you start having issues and because you kind of get this sense of something's going on. Harbaugh, the issues, the challenging of, or the speaking of, is Lamar hurt? Well, yeah, I think he'll be back, and he's this, and Lamar, we've talked about it ad nauseum. But my issue with this is Harbaugh's voice. You talk about it being stale as players. You go into these meetings, and you're ready to play every single week. And if your coach gives you nothing, you go into that meeting already kind of tuned out to what the head coach is saying. If he's not motivating, if he doesn't ever give you anything, or if he's repeating the same recycled message from 10 years ago.
And I don't know if that's happening, but I feel like I said this earlier in the week. I said it, I think, last week. I'll say it again. I do not believe the head coach and quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens next season is going to be John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. And after that article in the Baltimore Sun, a lot of people started speculating about Lamar Jackson trades. I think the far simpler thing is to move on from the head coach. Yeah. And I don't know what the Harbaugh relationship is with all of the players. It seems to me, with a lot of reason to believe it, that the John Harbaugh-Lamar Jackson relationship has seen its best days and they are behind them. And that they are not on the same page on a lot of topics. I also think, as I've said before, every single coach-quarterback combo that has ever made a Super Bowl together has done it within their first 5 years, the first time. For Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, they're in year 8. For John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson, they're in year 8. Every single NFL MVP since Bruce guy Brian Sipe has been to a Super Bowl at quarterback, except for Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Now, people say that's a Patrick Mahomes stat.
Yeah.
For Josh Allen, it definitively is, to at least to a degree. For Lamar, they've only played the Chiefs in playoffs once. So if they miss the playoffs outright, it's obviously the time for a change, and I think it's a change Lamar would want them to make.
First things first, overtime starts now. Bears might be the 2 seed. If they beat the Lions, is it time to start talking about Super Bowl in Chicago? Meanwhile, fresh edition of Parkins Picks. It's red hot. A little bit of a slump, but still red hot.
Cold.
Thank you.
Why
Went
Danny
0-3.
now agrees with
First
Drew
place.
about the Ravens. And finally, will Baker Mayfield lead the Bucs to the playoffs? Who has them going and who has them going home? Alongside Chris Broussard, Nick Wright, and Danny Parkins. I am Kevin Wildes. Danny, Happy New Year. I haven't seen you besides when I saw you upstairs. But I haven't seen you on television. Do you have a New Year's resolution?
For the 11th consecutive year, this is true. I keep my resolutions in my phone. Touch my toes. I'm over the last 10.
What?
Increased flexibility.
What?
You can't touch your toes?
Can't even come close.
Time out.
Were you ever able to touch your toes?
Sure, when I was a kid.
That's been your resolution for 10 years?
I'm over the last 10.
Then you are not trying.
I have at times. Personal trainer session tomorrow. Paid
This
for
new
it.
open.
Oh, can I tell this?
Personal trainer,
No,
you still can't touch your toes?
Wait, this is worth the extra 20 seconds.
This is not good.
The low-key, most insulting Christmas gift ever. And Stephanie, I love you. It was a great one. His wife's big gift to him was personal trainer sessions for him.
I like that.
Yeah, except it sends quite the signal.
Yeah.
Which is...
A husband cannot give that gift.
A personal trainer is just to get in more shape.
In better shape, yeah. Let's go from good to great.
Yeah. It's like Bobby Stroop, Patrick Mahomes. Not like, oh, man.
Yeah, I in some situations,
You're like
yeah.
Mahomes.
In this one, I
A lot of great
That's not
athletes
what
have
you
personal
say.
trainers. First up, battle for the 1
Thanks,
seed.
Nick.
Seahawks favored in San Francisco Saturday night. Here's somebody's guy, Sam Darnold.
That's something that we're all chasing, is for all 3 phases to play really, really good football all 4 quarters. But if not, we understand that, all 3 phases are going to have each other's backs. And I think that's what makes a good team. That's what makes a resilient team as well.
Okay, Seahawks this season, they got 13 wins. That's number 1. Their point differential, that's number 1. Huge wins, number 1. And margin of defeat is only -9. That's number 1. What the heck? Danny, will the Seahawks prove they're the best team in the league with a win?
I think that graphic actually proves that they already are. Like, just based on the resume, based on what they have accomplished this year, I think it's hard to argue against the team with the most wins that's won by the most points with the most blowouts, and when they lose, they are the closest losses. Like, that seems like a pretty ironclad case for they are the best team in the NFL this year. Now, if we don't trust their quarterback, or you got a specific team that you like more for a specific matchup reason, that's fine. But I think what's actually most interesting about Seattle going into this game is that they have all of those things on their resume, and Sam Darnold hasn't played well for 2 months. He has 9
Hadn't played great.
He has 9 touchdowns and 9 interceptions total in their last 8 games. 9 touchdowns, 9 picks, but they're 7-1 in those games. And I think that just speaks to, like, we do a lot of which quarterback is better, right?
Yeah.
Sure, but
which quarterback do you trust?
Which quarterback do you trust? But the best quarterback doesn't always win. Football's the ultimate team game. They are the best team, and they do not have the best quarterback.
So are they your pick to win the NFC?
I probably will pick the Rams, heads up. Yeah, but listen, they played. Those 2 teams have played twice. They've been 2 coin flips, and in that spot, they've been very close. But in that spot, I think it's reasonable.
But is that your coin flip
for the
graphic?
future? But like as of now, like I'm picking Seattle in this game. I've got Seattle over San Francisco.
Well, then let me jump in real quick. If Seattle, so I agree with you about resume, but I also agree that all gets thrown out if it's not simply okay. One team's quarterback's better than the other, but that doesn't make you throw out all the data. But if one team has a quarterback you just objectively do not trust, and you believe, not only do you not trust, but you believe will be his worst in the biggest spots, then I don't care about the data. I'm not going to believe in that team, which is why this weekend's game is so important. I need, if I can see Sam Darnold have a shocking chance at identical redemption to what happened last year in Minnesota, there is real reason to believe, had he played better, Week 18 in Detroit last year in this exact same spot playing for the 1 seed or the 5 seed, he'd still be in Minnesota.
Right.
That they wouldn't have, I know they had already drafted J.J. McCarthy, obviously, but if they were the 1 seed and theoretically, then in a home playoff game had won that get to a conference championship game, I don't know that they move on to J.J. I think they moved on to J.J. because he played so poorly in that game and then so poorly in the playoff game, they were like, let's turn the page. I just need him against what I think is the worst. Bears are right there. One of the 2 bad defenses that's going to be in the NFC playoffs, the Niners and the Bears. I need to see him play. If I see him play well against them and they get the bye, and it's going to be that defense in that stadium with that noise at home the rest of the way, then I'll believe in him. So to me, if they win this game, they are the best team in the league. Now, again, the best team doesn't always win it, and much like Danny said, he'd probably pick the Rams. If this ended up being Seahawks-Bills in the Super Bowl, I'd probably be like, well, Bills have hit their stride, and they have a quarterback I trust more. I'd probably ride with them. But I do think if they win this game, Brew, you've been very hesitant to say there is a best team. I think you'd have to say it's Seattle.
Well, the question is Sam Darnold. That's the one. I mean, their defense is top 2 in the league in terms of scoring defense. They got a solid running game. They have really a great receiving core with Cooper Kupp as their number 2 guy. And then Rashid Shaheed's great in special teams and is explosive at times. And obviously Jackson Smith and Jigba. So the only question is Darnold. And to your point, he hasn't been good. Now, for what'd you say, 2 months?
He's got 9 touchdowns and 9 picks in the last 8 games.
Yeah, and even the game 2 weeks ago against the Rams, and I came on here and said, he answered some questions for me. He still had 2 interceptions in that game, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Didn't really play well for the first 3 quarters or so plus. So there are real questions about him. Now, if he comes out, and he's facing a defense that Phillip Rivers actually played pretty well against at 44 years old, and Caleb Williams cooked against.
I think alarm bells go off if Darnold struggles against this defense.
Yes, they may lose, but if it may have to lose like a shootout where Brock.
They have to lose the way the Bears lost to the Bears.
Yeah, exactly. But if he struggles and they score 16 or 19 points and lose, then you got real questions about that.
Yeah, that would be a shocking result. I mean, Sam Darnold. We looked it up. He's played 8 teams this year that right now are bottom 10 in pass defense. He's got a passer rating of 114 in those games. He destroys bad defenses. He has put up numbers against bad defenses. This is a bad defense. I expect him to play well.
NFL low 18 sacks for the 49ers. So I feel like he's going to have a clean pocket, be able to sort of dice up. Also, I'm willing to say if Seattle wins this game and Sam Darnold plays well, although I'm a Jalen Hurts guy, my junior varsity guy will be Sam Darnold in the NFC.
We've been trying to get you to be the Sam Darnold guy all year.
But they have to win for you.
No, hold on. I want you to declare it now.
Because you think you're a Purdy guy,
You're the Purdy guy. The Purdy real estate is taken on the show.
I
just want to be the Jalen Hurts guy.
We know you're not a Stafford guy. You don't think he's that good.
Stafford's great. Don't get me wrong. Not the MVP, but a great quarterback.
If you want to be the Darnold guy, you can't. It can't be contingent on them getting the 1 seed.
Okay, I will be the Darnold
You're the
guy.
Darnold
I will
guy.
be the Darnold guy, the Bryce guy, and the Jalen Hurts guy, not in that order.
No problem. You can have all 3 of those.
Excellent.
He
doesn't even have to play well in this game.
No, I believe in Sam Darnold.
Guy.
I believe in a balanced team.
He likes 14 wins. He likes 4,000 yards. He likes all that. But to Danny's point, just very quickly, the opposite of this question, what you guys were alluding to, even if they win, but Darnold has a dog of a game, Certainly if they lose and Darnold has a dog of a game and they're the 5 seed, no one's going to believe in them. But even if they win and he looks like seeing Ghost Darnold for what feels like the 5th consecutive high leverage game, the very end of the Rams game notwithstanding, they become an impossible team to believe in, and he becomes the most frustrating type of quarterback to have quarterback your team, which is the false hope throughout the regular season and going to get the rug pulled out under you guy. So for his reputation, this is as big of a spot as there can be in a regular season.
Don't talk trash.
He'd be a poor man's Jared Goff. Is that for the
Rams or the Lions?
Goff, I don't think we look at Goff as big games he can't come.
That's what I'm saying. Poor man.
Oh, worse version.
Puts up huge numbers, but
there's a different quarterback that I would
can't win it with him.
Yeah, there's a different quarterback. They'd be a very poor man's version of. Puts up huge numbers. Is in the MVP conversation. Can't trust in a big spot. Someone comes to mind, but I can't.
More than
really
the conversation.
Puts up huge numbers?
Puts up huge numbers. You don't in the regular season. You don't
He's
trust him in the playoffs.
thinking Lamar.
Oh, my goodness
I didn't even
gracious.
say that.
That's we know.
Lamar's
not in MVP conversations. He wins them.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
He ends the conversation.
Bears in Detroit, gunning for the 2 seed. Ben Johnson, unlike Danny, not happy with last week's performance against San Francisco. Take a listen.
It's the right mentality.
Coming from that place, I just know when you drop the ball down, they're going to come out and they're going to play. And that's really how we approach it here as well. So I fully expect a great game on Sunday afternoon. And once again, we're coming off a loss that none of us are very happy about, and really our emphasis is on getting ourselves fixed, getting our corrections made, and we don't want to have that feeling again this week.
What would a Bears win prove against Ben Johnson's old squad?
Nothing. And I assume for all 3 of you guys, nothing also. Right? I mean, we've been asking this question.
I was planning on ruining your day by saying nothing.
No.
Really?
I thought it would really bring you down a little bit.
No,
but
thank
you
you
agree.
for your goal on a Friday is to bring me down. No, we have been asking this question about the Bears since October. What does this win prove? Like, what does it prove? This was after they beat a team that was in the NFC Championship game last year against Washington, and they beat Jaden Daniels.
Would it be more of an indictment on?
What did it? Of their 3rd straight win after the Vikings? What did they prove? That's just a 5-game winning streak. What about on Black Friday when they beat the Eagles? When they beat the Super Bowl champs?
We weren't here for that.
Those are actually
weren't even on that.
Yeah.
I mean, was just you put our own.
Did you make these up or those actually
those are all
were
questions on this show after Bears win. October, November, early December, late December.
Wow.
It's now January.
What does it prove? Nothing. Oh, so why would week
that we
18,
need more variety in our questions.
More of a show indictment
against the Lions team that has nothing to play for? You either believe or you don't believe. Like, I believe that there's a huge group of teams this year, larger than normal at this point of the year, that can win the Super Bowl because it's wide open, and the Bears are in that grouping of teams. Some people don't.
So I understand that, but this is. I guess I'm one of a last of a dying breed of people that think seeding matters in the NFL playoffs. We got teams.
That's why the Bears are playing their guys.
No. From analysis perspective, and I don't think the 2 seed's the same as the 3 seed. I don't. You know why? Because if you're the 2 seed, your round 2 game against the 3 seed, assuming both teams win, is in your building. I do think stuff like that matters. And I'm not talking about you here. I'm talking about in general. It seems like there's been a lot of discussion about these meaningless Week 18 games because, what's the difference for the Texans, whether they're the 5 seed or the 6 seed? Well, I don't know. Going to an AFC North team versus going maybe to New England or to Jacksonville, to me, feels different. So I think the Bears have a lot to play for here. And so it is kind of more negative. A loss would be alarming to me. While a win maybe wouldn't, cement them anywhere. But I don't look at the Lions as the type of team that's going to roll over. I don't look at the Lions as the type of team that's going to say, we're out of the playoffs, we don't care. I don't think that's Dan Campbell's MO.
Yeah, against their old offensive coordinator.
So you agree with me? You're saying.
I think it's embarrassing if the Lions lose.
No, the Lions are on the record. They're playing their guys, all the things.
I think it's similar to, and obviously they didn't lose their quarterback, but like the Chiefs, against the Titans. I'm sure the Chiefs didn't go out there thinking season's over, doesn't matter, but just naturally it was a letdown that was unavoidable. Detroit, Dan Campbell's going to do everything he can to get them up. I'm sure mentally they're going to be like, let's go out there with a bang. But this isn't like a couple of years ago when they beat Green Bay over the last week, because they could ruin the season for a division rival. They can't do that. Chicago's still in the playoffs, no matter what. Yeah. And I just think it's going to be – this is a team that was thinking Super Bowl. So I think they're going to have a letdown emotionally, and I don't know what type of Detroit team we're going to see. I'm not expecting a great one.
Even against Ben Johnson, where it's like, man, we were thinking Super Bowl last year. This guy left.
I think a little bit emotionally, subconsciously.
But there's two other things here quickly. One is that your little doth protest too much on us not believing in the Bears when 8 minutes ago, Kevin Wildes gave you a off the backboard alley-oop, Wembanyama style, as far as he said, so if Seattle, you're going to pick them to win the NFC, and you hesitated, and I'm like, oh, okay. He's hesitating because he wants to ride with his Bears. And he's like, I'd probably pick the Rams.
He didn't even think about the Bears. They weren't even in consideration.
What?
That you don't believe.
The Bears' defense is not good.
Well, that's the other piece of it is that we now have playoff look-ahead lines, and this shocked me because the Bears.
Haven't seen these.
So the Bears could play in round one theoretically. Niners, Rams, Packers. Those are the three teams they could play in round one. They are, according to our friends at DraftKings, underdogs against all three. Yeah. They are bigger underdogs. They are 1.5 underdogs against the Packers, 1.5 underdogs against the Niners, and 4.5 point underdogs against the Rams. Packers being favored in your stadium in a playoff game would be that's so Vegas doesn't believe in the team.
I think they should be underdogs in all those games.
Wow.
Really?
Again, that could change depending on how this weekend goes.
Yeah, and I would have included when you were talking about bad NFC defenses, I think the Packers defense right now.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a fair
Packers
point.
defense is not good. They're not playing well. I would like the Bears in that spot.
How many points did y'all score against them a couple weeks ago?
Well, which one?
16?
Yeah, 22-16 was that one game.
Come on.
Time now for a red hot segment. Granted, it didn't win last week, but this segment is red hot. It's time for Parkins Picks.
Yeah.
Overall, yeah.
I am seeing the NFL very clearly. This is the official pick segment. I plug into the matrix. I see the league clearly. I'm not going to let 3-0 change me. I'm not scared of picking big games, taking the points with Detroit. Play in the wood with the Chicago Bears. Easy, easier, and easiest. I know that I'm right.
Let's see how they did last week.
Let's check it out, Nick. Yikes.
Ouch.
Wow. Wasn't particularly close either. Not great, but here's the thing. Nick and I agreed that I would stop wearing this ridiculous outfit if I ever fell below 500, hasn't happened, or if he ever passed me in the standings, hasn't happened.
Game and a half back.
So I'm not here to talk about 0-3. I'm here to talk about 27-24, another winning season. And
not a winning season yet.
Not a winning season yet.
You got 27-27 is on the board, buddy.
Listen, after these picks, after these picks, we'll lock in a winning season. People say it's hard to gamble in Week 18. Not if you lay 4.5 with Tanner McKee. What? How are you laying 4.5 with Tanner McKee? It's very simple. Washington, they're playing backups too, but not Marcus Mariota. They're playing 39-year-old Josh Johnson. So what do we know about Tanner McKee? Well, we know that Tanner McKee has started one game in his NFL career. It's pretty good. Week 18 last year against the Giants, had an excellent game. People in Philly think he could be a starter in this league. And while Philly is taking this opportunity to rest some of their key players, they too are playing for something because, as Nick mentioned, seeding matters. So if Philly wins and the Bears lose to Detroit, The Eagles get the 2 seed. Now, they're prioritizing rest for their key guys, but it's not like they're not going to game plan. They are going to try to win the game. They're going to try to showcase Tanner McKee, and Washington is playing someone Nick's age. So I like the Eagles to win the game. Next up, you can't count on a lot of things in the NFL, but you can count on the Dallas Cowboys beating the New York Giants. Dallas wants to avoid a losing season. This game would get them to dead even. The Giants obviously have no motivation. They're looking for draft picks. Jackson Dart's still playing hard. But what is one of the most reliable things in the NFL? Dak Prescott beating the New York Giants. He throttles them. He's one of the best win percentages against a single opponent of any quarterback in NFL history. Since 2017, hasn't lost, and he bludgeons them. 8 of those 14 wins by 15 or more. Dak owns the Giants. I'll happily lay only 3.5 with that great Dallas offense that is still playing for something. And last but not least, I believe in it. I believe in Bruce Ravens. Lamar is back. It could all come down to, if Nick has a great start, which he won't, it could come down to Sunday Night Football because he's on Pittsburgh's side. I'll lay the 3.5. We watched that Steelers game together. You're right. It wasn't a pleasant experience, not because of the Blue Moons, but because of how much money you were losing on it, but also because of Pittsburgh's offense without DK Metcalf.
Yes.
Who is Aaron Rodgers going to throw the ball to? Steelers wide receivers this season. DK Metcalf on one side of the graphic. Everything else on the other side of the graphic. The left side of the graphic is not there. Washington, the tight end, also not there. How is he going to move the ball against Baltimore when he has no one to throw to? 8 catches for 60 yards on 21 targets to receivers last week. He won't move the ball. Baltimore wins this game and the AFC North easy. Easier, easiest, the most easiest.
Can you catch Parkins?
I'm a game and a half back. So yes, if I go 3-0 and Danny goes 1-2, I win. If I go 2-1 and Danny goes 0-3, I win. And again, this keeps going during the playoffs. But this is for the regular season.
Regular season title matters.
Yeah, and Ravens Steelers were on the opposite side. So if in the early slate, if Danny goes if Danny goes 1-1 and I go 2-0 in the early slate, or if Danny goes 0-2 and I go 1-1, it comes down to Ravens Steelers.
I'm buying what you're selling, Dan.
You're buying what I'm selling?
Absolutely.
Wow. Just laying more than a field goal in 3 spots, 2 teams with literally nothing to play for. What could go wrong? This guy refuses to ever take underdogs, and he's had back-to-back squarest picks imaginable. I can't believe he's had 2 winning seasons in a row. He doesn't deserve it.
I am beating you
I know.
The picks
it's
again.
unjust. It's unjust, but it's what's happened.
And it's 2 years in a row on TV. We can go back years in our text thread in my radio days. I've been throttling this guy.
Give me a pick.
Coming up next, don't touch that dial.
Don't touch that dial.
Greg Jennings and Willie Colon here. Are here. Is this Rodgers' last season as a Steeler? Last season in the NFL?
Welcome back to the OT, hanging out with Greg Jennings and Willie Colon. We begin in Baltimore, where for the first time in 2 months, Lamar Jackson completed a full week of practice. Obviously, big news ahead of their winner-take-all game Sunday night against the Steelers. And yesterday, he talked about a lot of things. His recovery from injury, his love of the team, and his commitment to playing. Take a listen.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man. I'm be out there. You know, I always want to play football, you know, but I felt like my brother had he can, you know, put a win off for us because I wouldn't be able to do anything. You know, I was really hurt. Like, I don't know why I got to get questioned about, or I hear things about, I don't know if he really, like, I never quit on my team before, you know, so I never quit anything, to be honest with y'all. So I don't know where that noise came from.
So the question is, do we think everything is well between Lamar and the Ravens? And no. Like, to put it simply, like, I'm really glad he's going to play. I think it makes the game fascinating. But whether it's stories out of the Baltimore Sun, whether it's disagreeing, diverging messaging between its coach and quarterback about injuries, or whether it is just simply results on the field. Like, it has not been good enough in the postseason in the past and this year in the regular season with Lamar in Baltimore. Like, all isn't well, and it feels like there is something that is going to change this offseason. But this is not a relationship of 2 equals. Like, if Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh are going to have a parting of ways, Lamar Jackson's going to get to keep the house. Meaning Lamar stays and Harbaugh goes. So I don't think all is well. I do think Baltimore wins this game, but I don't think that's enough to solve all of the problems.
So I think when we look at this game and the magnitude that it holds, seemingly all can be well. However, I'm with you. I don't believe all is well, the underlining issues, all the mixed messaging. You mentioned all of that. But when you win games, it masks and covers up what isn't going great. What the things the chatter that we're hearing, it starts to quiet. Willie, you know this.
Mm-hmm.
All wins do is push back all the things that are really issues that, you know what? I think you guys think you overcome that? Maybe not. But for at least this week, we have. So if they can win this game, a win and you're in type of a feel, when Lamar Jackson not playing, being injured, coming off injury, them having success offensively, looking the way that they looked, and he comes in, they look great offensively, and he's a part of the reason why they win, all will be well until it isn't again.
Yeah, can I be frank? All of that doesn't matter, right? And I say that from the standpoint, if I'm one of Lamar Jackson's teammates, if I'm Derrick Henry, you know, we waited around for you to play. We've arrived. We finally got what we wanted out of the season. We wanted to have the opportunity to land in the playoffs. I think all of this nonsense about whether he's a good quarterback, what his future looks like, what happens to the head coach, is all a distraction coming into a game because this team climbed themselves out of football hell. I would be seriously frustrated that we're talking more about Lamar Jackson's future rather than how we can attack the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday. It's going to be cold. It's going to be balmy. It's going to be dry. Lamar Jackson has to be better. He, at this point in his career, owes it to this team to be the best quarterback on the field, despite how he feels, right? You talk about him having his full week of practice. You talk about him, you know, really maybe throwing on some extra padding. When you play in these type of games, and I know because I played in these type of games, the only thing that matters is about getting after your opponent and being ruthless, testing a man's will. He has to attack the Pittsburgh Steelers with that level of intensity. I'm even mad he addressed all of it because I think elite quarterbacks say, hey, man, all of that will take care of itself in the offseason. I want to get the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why? Because I'm 3-5 as a starter. I only have one win in Pittsburgh. And by the way, we found the identity without me. So I have a chip on my shoulder. I want to hear that talk come from him. All this nonsense, whether he's in or he's quit, we'll figure that out later. I need you to be the dog. I need you to be him on Sunday. I want that energy coming out the presser.
I mean, he hasn't played that well, though. Like if he said, like, that'll take care of itself in the offseason, it almost validates it.
Correct.
Like he was trying to be like, that's not even a story. I'm going to be out there. And so, I'm with you. I don't know what version of Lamar we're going to get on Sunday. And that is the immediate story. Yeah. But he also needs to play great. Like, if they win and he's not great, they're not going to go on a run in the playoffs. Like, they need Lamar Jackson to be great, and we have not seen Lamar Jackson be great in months.
Yeah, I thought the reporters did a good job of asking the direct questions. Like, do you even want to be here? In Lamar's position, you can't dodge those questions. You can't put that off. You need to address that. Yeah. I don't know where this is coming from. All the other chatter of sleeping in meetings and not wanting to be playing because of contract and all those things.
I like this line about sleeping in meetings. He's like, I'm right in the front row.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hey, that don't mean nothing.
It doesn't. It definitely doesn't. It definitely doesn't.
I like that.
I think guys
those eyes get heavy. They get heavy anywhere,
Exactly.
in front row or back row. But I thought it was wise of him to at least quiet it to where he left no doubt. He didn't leave any doubt. If he was leaving doubt, then we would watch this game with great detail and intent on, okay, is Lamar Jackson, does he even want to be out there? All those things, all those questions we have.
I guess, and I understand what you're saying. I guess I would have took the silent approach. I'm like, watch me work. Because my work and how I perform on Sunday would have been the answer to all the nonsense that I thought was out there about me.
Well, let's see how you feel about this big picture question. As we go to the other side here in Pittsburgh, season on the line for them as well. Aaron Rodgers addressed the media to talk about the game, his career, the retirement narrative surrounding this game, which, to be fair, Mike Tomlin even addressed, saying he did not want this to be the last game for Aaron Rodgers. He's 42 years old. Take a listen.
Listen, I mean, I'm thinking about this week, but obviously I'm 42 years old and I'm on a one-year deal. So you know what the situation is. Whenever the season ends, I'll be a free agent. So that'll give me a lot of options. If I still want to play, I'm in a lot of options, but there'll be options. I would think maybe one or two if I decide I still want to play. But I've enjoyed this experience, and everybody in Pittsburgh has been fantastic to me on and off the field. And it's really what I was hoping for this experience was. It's been even better than I was hoping.
Will, you think Rodgers is back in Pittsburgh next year with a win?
If the Steelers win, I expect the retirement talk to go quiet. because I think if they win, the maybe turns into let's run it back. That's how I feel. I also think right now, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you win this game and whatever happens in the playoff happens, it's about going into this offseason, giving this offense a facelift. We talked about the receivers. They need more help outside of DK Metcalf. You want to see more production out of your tight ends. You also want to see Aaron Rodgers be protected better because he's going to go be 42 and potentially 43. So I think you have to campaign yourself and tell Aaron Rodgers, if you do decide to come back, by the way, we want you back. We're gonna go hard. We're gonna get you pieces. We're gonna get you weapons, and we're gonna allow you, give you a full year to be with this offense. And we're gonna cater and wrap our identity around what you want and how we can develop moving forward. So I think the win solves a lot. They just got to win.
I'm not so sure that the win solves all of that and guarantees he'll be back, because with this year being so kind of lopsided in terms of what we all expected, with the Kansas City Chiefs being a team that's on the outs looking in, the Chargers being in but being so wounded, if you will. There's been such even within their own division, you look at what the Bengals haven't been, them finding themselves in a Week 18 win and you're in situation. Yes, in the locker room you feel like you should be better, but Aaron Rodgers is a chess player, not a checkers player. So looking down the road, he's probably thinking, man, do I want to go through this again? Do I believe we have what it takes to actually be in contention next season if the things that have unraveled this year are different? I'm not so sure if he's ready to do that. Again, he's in complete control. If he wins, I don't think it guarantees that they're in. If they get close, like AFC Championship game or Super Bowl, and miss out, I still think he's riding off in sunset.
Yeah, so I came into this year thinking that Aaron Rodgers and Travis Kelce 5 years from now are going to go into Canton together, because it was pretty obvious for both of these guys that it was their last year. And Kelce, I feel that way, not to make it about the Chiefs, but Rodgers, same thing. He didn't want to end like it was going to end with the Jets.
Correct.
Yeah. And now it hasn't. It was a season with no drama. It was a season playing for in big games. He got to play the Bears one more time. He got to play the Packers one more time. He got to wear the black and gold. He got to play for Mike Tomlin. He got to have a winning season. And so if he goes to the playoffs and maybe even wins a playoff game and ends that drought, and he gets to say, in my last season in the NFL, I won Mike Tomlin his first playoff game since 2016, that's a pretty good ride off into the sunset narrative. I feel like it's almost more likely that he talks himself into trying again if they lose. I think he wants to end with just, I didn't embarrass myself and I went out on a fine note. Not a Super Bowl, but just a fine note.
But I also think right now, if you look around, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're like, hey, man, if I got this guy, we can do this, man, I can really write my own chapter. We know Aaron Rodgers, and I've said this before, he's put his hand on the door and be like, okay, I'm not ready yet. So in the offseason, if he has time to digest what he has done and what looks, how the Steelers look forward.
I don't think it's going to be quick.
Yeah.
It's never been quick.
It's not going to be a quick decision.
So I'm just saying, I can see him taking his time. And I can see him back in Latrobe come August.
I will say this. He was better this year than I thought he was going to be. He
wasn't sacked as much.
Right.
Yeah.
He played all 17 games. Middle of the pack quarterback.
Sure.
With a middle of the pack to below average supporting cast. He did his job. Yeah. And my guess is, based on what he said in the preseason, my guess is that's going to be enough for him.
And also, Mike Tomlin is going to have to sit him down and be like, please. He may have to do a little bit. A little bit.
That's not good for the state of quarterbacking with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We've got 3 real games that matter this weekend. We're picking them all coming up on the O2. Gentlemen, it's time for a game of Who You Got. The rules are self-explanatory. 3 matchups with a lot on the line this weekend. Let's get into it. What do we got first?
Panthers at Bucs. Who you got?
I got the Panthers. Not in an upset. Yeah, listen, I know that sounds insane because of the reputation of the 2 quarterbacks and the 2 franchises, but have we been paying attention to the Bucs? They are 0-8 against the spread in their last 8, and I know we're just picking the winner. They're 1-7 straight up. They have 1 win in the last 2 months. Baker Mayfield is playing terrible. I'm not saying Bryce Young is playing great, but 2 weeks ago, the Panthers beat the Bucs.
The Panthers last week were tied in the second half with Seattle, who's playing for the 1 seed. Carolina's playing better football than Tampa Bay right now, who's been playing bad since basically November 1st. I will take Carolina, Greg.
I'm going with the Bucs. Look, in that game a couple weeks ago, the Bucs dominated the time of possession. They ran the ball well. They'll need to run the ball, lean into your physicality up front. Tristan Wirfs looks like he's going to be back out there.
That matters.
That definitely matters in your run game. You got to feed Rashad White and Bucky Irvin. Let those guys get after it. And then with Tristan Wirfs obviously being there to kind of fortify what you are up front, hopefully you can get something in the passing game with Baker in the right direction, not turning the ball over and not kind of spiraling the way he's been the last few weeks. I know he's playing through injury, but I think he'll have enough to get it done.
Yeah, I got the Bucs, and I think we're all saying the same thing. The issue with Baker right now, I think he's not talking about the injuries. I think he's dealing with a shoulder. His knee is probably limited his scrambling ability. But all his weapons are a go. Mike Evans is a Panthers killer. He usually has big games against the Panthers. This defense is going to be key. Can this Buccaneers defense stand up, especially in crucial situations, and really get him off the field on third down? I expect Baker to raise his level of play. If he takes care of the football, and to Greg's point, they run the ball, they're going to be fine. I got the Bucs.
From Saturday afternoon to Saturday night, what's next?
Seahawks at 49ers. Who you got?
I got Seattle. Seattle, to me, they are the more complete football team. San Francisco's offense is rolling. If the question was which quarterback do I trust more to have a great statistical game, it would be Brock Purdy. But Seattle has the most wins in football, the best margin of victory in football, the most blowout wins in football, and when they lose by the slightest margin of any team in football. Like, they haven't been blown out in any game this year. They're in every game. I expect them to be in this one. They are an excellently coached team. Obviously, San Francisco is as well. Yep. But Darnold, while he has not been playing well for a couple of months now, I think he carves up San Francisco's defense. So personally, I like Seattle.
Yeah, I got the San Francisco 49ers, man, and I'm going with CMC. The fact that we now think of MVP as a quarterback award is nonsense. This man carried his team this season, and I think because of the creative scheme of Mike Shanahan and how he utilizes CMC, of having him in that running back position, moving him out to slot, being a mismatch nightmare for linebackers and safeties. And you talk about right now, one of the things we witnessed against the Chicago Bears is the Niners played horrible on defense. They won a shootout, and Brock Purdy was MVP-like. The defense was garbage, but now they have an opportunity to fight for the 1 seed. Like, everything that you can say about them, they've been able to overcome. So I have the Niners. I see them beating the Seahawks. And listen, Brock Purdy in the playoffs is dangerous.
Well, I'm with Danny. I got the Seahawks. When you look at this team, like Danny mentioned, they are complete. But when you look across the field and you look at what has always been the Achilles heel of Sam Darnold in these moments, pass rush, pressure, all the things that the San Francisco 49ers will not be able to do. Dead last in sacks. So if you are Seattle and you are Sam Darnold, you're feeling really good about going up against this opponent. You played them in week 1, they look completely different. Nick Bosa was on the field, Fred Warner. Nick Bosa was the one who got the sacks for him, got the TFLs, all the things. Well, he's not on the field this week, and you just have to feel good if you're Seattle going into this situation, knowing your quarterback has struggled in these pressure moments because of pressure, and this is something that the San Francisco 49ers just simply don't do.
9 touchdowns and 9 picks for Darnold in his last 8 games, and they're still 7-1 in those 8 games. Same exact situation that Darnold had last year. You win, you win, you're the 1 seed. Yeah. You lose, you're the 5 seed. Let's see if he plays better than he did last year, Week 18, against the Lions. Last one, win in your in scenario. What do we got?
Ravens at Steelers. Who you got?
So I have the Baltimore Ravens, and they were a part of Parkins Picks, even though these games are always close, and it's a great old school rivalry. Willie knows it better than anyone. And it has something to do with Lamar Jackson being a full participant, and has something to do with Derrick Henry in Baltimore, but it really is about Pittsburgh. We watched Pittsburgh last week against Cleveland without DK Metcalf, and they could not move the football. It was ugly, and they scored 6 points. If we could show Aaron Rodgers throwing to DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers throwing to all the other receivers. Like, DK Metcalf is on the left, and everyone else is on the right, and that thing at the bottom, 8 catches for 60 yards on 21 targets last week. I just don't know how Pittsburgh moves the ball in this game, Willie. I got Baltimore.
Well, there's no way I can pick Baltimore. I mean, it'd be blasphemy on my part,
you
right?
can't
I would
do
be
it.
the ultimate Judas, so I'm going to pick the Pittsburgh Steelers. But nevertheless, I agree with you, Danny. One of the issues with the Steelers right now is they don't convert very well on third down. I have a graphic. This is what they look like during the month of December, and it's not good. It's actually damn bad. Look at against the Ravens, they were 6-14. As of last week, against the Browns, they were 3-15 on third down. Can't happen. And now you talk about no DK, no Mount Washington, so now you're looking at the playbook shrinking. But this is what the Pittsburgh Steelers have to do. They have to live in third and short. If they're able to win on early downs and not get into third and medium and third and long, they got a good shot. And also defensively, TJ Watt is back. We need some takeaways. They lead the division in takeaways. Our defense has to come down and put that tie-down on Lamar Jackson. If we're able to do that, boy, we're waving towels. We're waving towels on Sunday, DP.
I was very confused. It was a unique moment in television history. Like, all right, you're making a pick as a homer. Cool, we've seen that before. But then you have a graphic arguing against your point.
Yep.
But then you came around, and you were like, TJ Watt, you started.
See how I swerved?
Yeah, you did. You confused me. It was a little zigged. I expected you to zag. It was very confusing. All right, what do you got, Greg?
I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens.
There we go.
Look, if you are on that side and you are playing defense against this offense that you just watched against the Browns with no DK Metcalf, now you understand they don't have Darnell Washington, may have Calvin Austin, who can impact the game. You just don't believe that this team can produce enough big plays. So you crowd the line of scrimmage, you hover, you make Aaron Rodgers do something that he typically is going to do anyway, get the ball out of his hands. He doesn't have the playmakers to generate those big plays like DK typically is able to do. The Ravens.
Ugh.
The Ravens get it done.
I mean, not much on the line. The AFC North, a trip to the playoffs.
Yeah, not much.
Questions about John Harbaugh's future. Questions about Mike Tomlin's future. Questions about Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson.
I just want to did I mention Lamar Jackson only has one win in Pittsburgh and he's 3-5 to start against the Steelers?
He does not play well against the Steelers.
I know it's a little. I just want to throw that back out.
Has not played well against the Chiefs.
Where's my
damn
yellow? Where's my terrible towel?
Yeah, where is your towel?
I'll tell you what. That's why if you're Lamar Jackson and you watch what happened on the sideline last week, turn around, hand it to that guy.
Oh, we'll be
22
for that.
Yeah. Just give it to 22.
Yeah.
You thought Tyler Huntley should play.
I did.
Now you got Lamar Jackson.
Now I want Lamar Jackson.
You're a little scared?
Nah, I'm not scared. Yeah, Willie don't blink for nobody.
We know why he wanted Huntley to play.
Listen, I don't tie my shoes for a reason. We don't run. So what's up?
I like that. That's good. History coming to Chicago.
Is there any incentive to get Caleb that 4,000-yard passing mark that hasn't happened here?
We'll see where it's at the end of the year, but that's tertiary goal, if you will.
Do you appreciate what that might symbolize, though?
I think it's an arbitrary number, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what would that mean? You tell me.
You're new, but that's kind of a big deal here.
Yeah. Apparently it is.
So I got to tell you guys. So Willie, you didn't know this.
I didn't.
We were talking about this in the break. The Bears are the only franchise in the NFL to never have a 4,000-yard passer. They are also famously the only franchise in the NFL to never have a 30-touchdown passer. So I have cited these statistics and these, yes, to Ben Johnson's point, arbitrary benchmarks many times when lamenting Bears quarterback problems of my entire life. And Caleb, to his credit, said he would like it because he wants to do things that have never been done in Chicago before, so it would mean something to him, though obviously not a primary goal like winning the game. I am surprised at myself. I can show you the list of the Bears' all-time leaders for single season. It's a pathetic list, obviously. Caleb this year is already just over 100 yards, 109 yards away from being the best season ever for a Bears quarterback. I care much less than I thought I was going to care. And I'll tell you why. He's the one. Like, whether it happens this year or it doesn't,
it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. He will have, I would say conservatively, the top 8 seasons, maybe 10 in Bears history. Like, when it's all said and done, we got the guy. So like whether it's a 17-game season versus 16, so that's already like it's gonna happen. So I don't need them to gun for it in the fourth quarter if the game is out of reach. If he gets it, great. If he doesn't, it'll happen next
So that's
year.
how I feel when listening to Ben Johnson. I get the vibe that he feels that way as well. Like, look, man, we got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
That'll happen when it needs to. If it happens this week, great. If it doesn't, he'll get it, but that's not going to be our concern. We are going to establish a culture about winning championships, hopefully.
How sad is it that it's never happened, though?
It's sad, but this would be a cherry on the top.
Yeah, oh, and Ben Johnson's the players coach. He's playing coy with the media there.
Right.
He knows.
He wants,
Yeah.
He is
I
aware.
absolutely love that Caleb is like,
Caleb cares, too. I like that, too.